What's going on, Conscious Crew? It is your favorite breakdown commentator, CTV. Welcome to another riveting episode of the Consciouztv platform. You already know what we're here to get into, and before we do so, go ahead and thumbs up the video. Please thumbs up the video. When you first get up in the sanctuary, baby, the thumbs up not only helps the YouTube algorithm, but more importantly, it triggers up YouTube's notification system. So if you can use your fingers to click on a video, if you can use your fingers to scroll, if you can use your fingers to type, you can definitely use your fingers to click the like on the video. It's free 99. It don't cost you nothing, and it helps us to continue to grow our kingdom. So whether you are a Bush baby, part of the Replay gang, or you're active in these streets with me in real time, give me a old nasty thumbs up. Also, shout out to all the new subbies. We're at 2.7 and counting. Teamwork makes the dream work. We are a all-purpose platform. We gag, we roast, we do spirituality, sociology, psychology, politics. Maybe there's nothing that the kingdom don't get into, world. But there's a little bit of this, there's a little bit of that. But everybody get into it. Last but not least, please share the stream out to whatever it is you have to do for the community, whether that be a community wall, your Snapchat, your Facebook, your dark side of Twitter, Tumblr, or your personal OF. I don't really give a damn where you impact lay the link. Let them whores know that we're loud, we're live, and we're certainly in color. And all donation information is in the description box below. It's also in the scroll right here. $sign Consciouztv. So this is how it is on the platform, on Cash App and or PayPal.me/Consciouztv. Spelled just how it is here on the platform. With no further ado, let's go ahead and push on through.
I know a place where you can recharge your soul.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
And in the midst of brokenness, he gon' see your asshole.
Baby, that's Consciouztv.
You gon' heal, you gon' laugh and catch a little shade.
Ooh, girl.
Y'all know he be slaying, y'all better stop playing. Come hear what he's saying.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What's going on, Conscious Crew? Let me speak and do roll call today. What's going on, Sonja? Hey, Sherry. Hey, Whitney. What's going on, Miss Lady J? What's going on, Vianney? Hey, Ian Gardner. Hey, Sin. What's going on, Aaron? Hey, Linnell. What's going on, Charity the Gift? Hey, Old Enough to Know Better. What's going on, Chowder? Hey, Coda Girl. What's going on, Simply Red? Hey, Old Enough to Know Better. Hey, TW. What's going on, Ellie? Hey, Ray. What's going on, D Paris? What's going on, Boo? I caught an actual live on period from my cubicle. Bless you and the cubicle, baby. What's going on, Denitria? Hey, my other sin. I think God got a particular knack when it comes to them sins, baby. I think God got a favorite amongst humanity, girl, okay? Because it's a lot of queens named Sin, honey. Okay, the sins, girl. God like them sins in bundles, baby. Okay, he need duplications. I ain't mad at it. What's going on, Arenda? Hey, Lexus Tea Party. Hey, Lady D. Hey, Tiffany. What's going on, Yemaya? Hey, Boo. What's going on? Hey, Pam is here. Hey, Love. Hey, Shayla. What's going on, Zenki? Hey, Shelia. What's going on, Les? Oh, nasty Leslie. You know, a lot of Leslies are lesbians. Are you a lesbian, Leslie? What's going on, Boo? Hey, Taryn. What's going on, Justin? Hey, Bo. From the UK. Shout out to the UK, honey. My baby fathers overseas checking in with the king. What's going on, Veely? What's going on, Chapel? Hey, Bo. Let me continue to do roll call, child. I like calling y'all name, child. What's going on, JD? Hey, Bo. No love. Okay, ain't no lesbian in that Leslie on Purria, honey. Strictly Dickly. Hey, Sister Phyllis. Hey, Boo. What's going on, y'all? You know, I like calling y'all name because this helps me to familiarize myself with the chat, get acquainted with everybody's avatar so that I know, you know, all y'all by face and name. Now, you guys, we had an amazing show last night. Me and my ninja, Reckless Logic. Y'all already know who Reckless is, honey. Shout out to Reckless. Subscribe to Reckless on YouTube and Instagram. It's Reckless Logic with 2 C's on the end of logic, honey. He gets into all the things. We came through and gave y'all a 1-2-1-2 on Erica Mina, and then we got into this Dr. Heavenly Funky Dineva conversation. Now, that live stream wasn't supposed to be no more than an hour. And I'm going to try to make this one no more than an hour and a half at the longest. I am going to drop the link because a lot of Conscious crew members were very distressed that they were not able to tune in last night because they were asleep. It was an improv live stream, but it was absolutely amazing, girl. The conversation got real deep as it relates to this whole contrast between Black women and their good Judies and gay men and their good Judies. And it was an interesting powwow. It was well governed. It was well curated. And it was a really domesticated town hall meeting. So what I wanted to do was come back today and give the Conscious crew members an opportunity who missed last night's discussion, didn't get an opportunity to hit the link. We are going to also have a call-in number very soon because I know calling in is a bit more practical and accessible for viewers rather than StreamYard. I know StreamYard is a little bit unnerving. You have to connect your camera. You got to turn it off. You might can have a camera slip. Sometimes, StreamYard be acting a hot, fidgety mess. So I am working on a call-in line so you guys can just call in, and that'll make you guys participating in the live stream more interactive and more practical and simplistic for you all. So that's all coming. But I will be dropping a link again so you guys can come up and join the discussion. All right. And if you missed last night's discussion, please get into it, girl. We had a great time. It was a key. It was informative. It was all the things that a well-quality commentating show should be, girl. We're absolutely working over here. Shout out to the 205 of you guys in the building. Moderators, please encourage the likes all throughout the live stream because we literally need all of this. The likes are the bloodline of every live stream and every pre-recorded material. So you guys, please continue to thumbs up as you're coming in. All right, so let's go ahead and get into the things, girl. We're not a hater over here. We might not, we might have our personal feelings about certain people. We might not fool up with certain people, girl. But, we still know how to tell the truth, girl, even if it cringes us to do so. So we got to get into Tasha Coochie K, girl, who's out here, honey. Moving on, honey. She tying up all the loose ends as it relates to all these lawsuits her ass done been in the eye of over the past few years from Miss Cardi B, who she now has come to a agreement with as it relates to this whole $3.9 million debt. And then, of course, we know she got the damn fake-ass red bottom suit off of her by Kevin Hunter, who also has settled, with the online mistress. So let's first get into, girl, her and this Kevin Hunter tea. For those of you who have been living under a big-ass rock. All right, courtesy of Yahoo Gra, Kevin Hart set to walk away after reaching an unconditional deal with ex-assistant and Tasha K. Kevin Hart can now put the legal battles with his former assistant, Miesha Shakes, and celebrity blogger Tasha Coochie K behind him. The comedian has reportedly reached a date of settlement with the defendants, and his legal team has updated the court about the new development. Kevin Hart dragged Miesha Shakes and Tasha Coochie K to court in 2023 on the grounds of civil extortion and invasion of mother-loving privacy. Child. You know that Tasha Coochie K got an old nasty master's degree in nosology, girl, just like me, baby. The only difference is I don't pay the cost to be the boss. Baby. Okay? Get like me, Tasha Coochie K. Get like me. Kevin informed the court that he made an unconditional deal with the duo, meaning that he would be dropping his lawsuit against them. Kevin's legal team also filed a notice of settlement of the entire case, noting that as long as no issues arrive when drafting the settlement, the case should be closed in the near future. The comedian's lawyer stated that they are currently finalizing the language of their settlement agreements, which were reached on February 14th. As confirmed by In Touch, Kevin's whole episode with Miesha and Tasha Coochie K began after Miesha, his former assistant, appeared in a candid interview with Tasha K. In the lawsuit filed in 2023, Kevin disclosed that he received a call from one of Tasha Coochie K's associates proposing that he pay $250,000 to prevent the interview from being published on Tasha K's social media. Kevin was taken aback by a proposal that suggested extortion, leading him to contact the police to report the incident immediately. He also explained that he instructed his legal team to issue a cease and desist letter to Tasha K, warning her against publishing the interview. Meanwhile, Kevin asserted that Miesha had signed a non-disclosure agreement when she left his employment. Miesha worked for the comedian as his assistant from 2017 to 2020. He subsequently filed a lawsuit seeking an injunction and unspecified damages. He claimed that Miesha's comments during Tasha K's interview had damaged his reputation. Following Kevin's filing, Miesha claimed that she did not do the actor any wrong with her interview. Miesha argued that the non-disclosure agreement she signed was not valid because her former boss never provided her with health insurance as promised in the deal, making it ultimately null and void. The former staff disclosed that when she signed the NDA, she was experiencing severe mental health challenges and was facing significant financial difficulties due to her unemployment. She emphasized that the actor was fully aware of her struggles, including her urgent need for health insurance and financial support, as she was unable to afford either her health insurance or her prescribed medications. Quote, Kevin felt to abide by their obligations under that document. Therefore, Kevin cannot pursue Miesha for an alleged breach when it suits Kevin's agenda, Miesha revealed. Her attorney continued, quote, with regard to the alleged invasion of privacy and defamation claims, Kevin and his company also cannot show a reasonable probability of success on those merits. Miesha's legal rep concluded that the actions taken by Kevin and his company to silence his client reflect a troubling pattern amongst celebrities. He noted that celebrities are engaging in questionable behavior, usually seek to suppress any criticism surrounding their actions. All right, so girl, they reached a unconditional deal, which I'm sure includes a injunction, a gag order. Don't speak about me. Leave me alone. I'll drop this lawsuit. Everybody can walk away, and kabloop. Okay, maybe even in the agreement, Tasha will agree to also remove the interview from her YouTube page and or her app, okay? Right now, the actual details of this quote-unquote unconditional deal are still under wraps and sealed, but we may learn more details about what the stipulations are on both sides. But nonetheless, the matter has been properly mediated, and both parties have reached a conclusion, girl, that suits all heathens involved. And speaking of mediation, Cardi B secures a $1.2 million payout deal in Tasha Coochie K's bankruptcy settlement for defamation ruling, courtesy of Complex.com. Cardi B and Tasha Coochie K have agreed to a bankruptcy settlement payment plan following a $4 million defamation judgment the 32-year-old rapper won in 2022. The blogger born Tasha Kibi Transrena Coochie K will pay Cardi nearly $1.2 million over the next 5 years in monthly installments under the Chapter 11 reorganization plan approved by a judge, Rolling Stone reports. Kibi's payments will start at a $176,000 a month installment in the first year and increase to $318,000 by the fifth year over a 12-month period. Although the plan covers less than a full judgment, Cardi retains the right to pursue the remaining balance after 5 years, potentially allowing her to garnish Kibi's wages again. She also agreed not to make derogatory, disparaging, or defamatory comments about Cardi or her family on any platform, including her podcast. All right. So what had happened, girl, because you guys know Tasha Coochie K and Cardi B have been going back and forth around this bankruptcy situation. Cardi B tried to disrupt the bankruptcy filing by informing the courts that Tasha Coochie K was actually defrauding the U.S. government, which is literally what happened because Cardi B provided the transcripts from the bankruptcy court hearing that encompassed Tasha Coochie K and her wife, Shaq, where they both admitted to hiding assets, getting rid of assets. Cardi B showed that Tasha Coochie K lied about not having trustees and other accounts overseas and hidden offshore accounts, etc. Girl, she ran down on Tasha Coochie K and also told the bankruptcy court that Tasha Coochie K had lied. They had not reached a settlement. They had only been going back and forth on numbers, but nothing concrete. All right. A lot of this was complicated when Tasha Coochie K only wanted to pay Cardi B a whopping or a measly $200,000 initially out of the 3.9. Cardi B said, hell no, to the no, bitch, I'll put you in jail, ho, before you reduce a $3.9 million debt to a $200,000 payment. So they had to go back to the drawing board, reorganize the whole thing, and came up with the 1.2 million, which only really covers Cardi B's attorney fees. Okay. Now, this is it a win? I guess if you break it all down and sort it all out, I guess they can call it even when you put everything into context, okay? Yes, Cardi B has a $3.9 million judgment that she now has to settle with 1.2 million out of. But Cardi B also got her entire lick back during the last 3 years because Tasha Coochie K had to sell her newborn baby to Africa to further pay for this debt. She had to give up her dream home and move out of Georgia to Florida, disrupting her children's life and her lifestyle at the time. She had to downsize vehicles because the bitch really ain't got it, which is why she ran to Chapter 11, girl, pleading and crying to the white man, honey, about how broke she was and how she wrote a check that her ass couldn't cash. She had Tasha Coochie K crashing the hell out all the past 2 years, girl, clogging up Florida's highways and byways, girl, putting the emergency brake on at intersections, smashing and dashing because Cardi B was getting her interviews with Joe Budden canceled, girl. I mean, she did drag Tasha Coochie K ass by and by, through and through, girl. It has not been no yellow brick road for Tasha Coochie K. She also forced Tasha Coochie K to close shop on Kiwi Studios. She literally shut down her business. She collapsed her employment. Tasha Coochie K lost damn near more than half of her employees at Kiwi. She's also been garnishing her accounts. I mean, it's been one thing after the other, after the other, after the other. So Cardi B reasonably, arguably, definitely got her lit back on the pain and suffering, okay? Tasha Coochie K inflicted her with pain and suffering. Cardi B returned the favor by taking her to task, running her up a tab, because Tasha Coochie K had to pay damn near $1 million to her own attorneys to fight with Cardi B in court, ultimately lost the case, and then as a result of her trying to run from the judgment, Cardi B running down on her in return actually forced all of Tasha Coochie K's debt up and out as a result of Tasha being forced to file bankruptcy. So not only did Cardi B force Tasha Coochie's hand, but she also put her in a bond and in a position to have to also pay up all her debts to the IRS and her other creditors, which would not have happened at this time had Cardi B not applied the pressure. So when you really put it all together, when you tie it up all in a nice bow, I think they definitely can call it very much so even. She gave her that work, and she's going to get her 1.2 million. And like the article says, after 5 years is up, Cardi B can go in and get the rest of her coin if that's the type of mood she in, because she did say, when me and a raggedy bitch beef, we gonna beef forever. All right, so this beef very may in fact escalate and continue to be activated in the next 5 years. Also, Cardi B got the one thing she was wanting from the very beginning, because she knew in its origins that Tasha Coochie K never had it. So she sued Tasha Coochie K, not even for money. Cardi B is rich. She's wealthy. I mean, she gave her ex-nigga a whole $1 million stack for his birthday, for God's sakes. You know, she has a successful shot glass cream product that is outselling. She has a debut album that's still charting in royalties. She has various investments. Cardi B has done what a woman with 15 minutes and $15 million need to do, baby. She striked it all and ensured that her and her children and their children and their children and their children would be wealthy for the rest of their lives, girl. So this was never about the coin for her. It was always about the principle, and it was always about her putting the dick in Tasha Coochie K's mouth. So along with this settlement comes a major injunction. So Tasha Coochie K cannot speak on Cardi B. She cannot publish stories about Cardi B. She cannot reference Cardi B. Recently, Tasha Coochie K had did a story on Nicki Minaj's sister, who is now going to be a part of Baddies, and was exposed for dating Cardi B's ex-ninja. Remember when Cardi B was on Love and Hip Hop New York and she was dating a guy in prison? Well, that guy is also in romantic dealings with Nicki Minaj's sister, okay? So Nicki's sister is dating the ex-boyfriend of Nicki's op girl. What a messy, wicked web that Charlotte has spun, girl. Ooh, girl. It's the sister wiving and the coochie juice swapping for me, girl. The way y'all be out here acting like it's only one dick in the world, girl. The way y'all be acting like it is one man to every 157 women, girl. The way the sharing is caring principle is set up in the community, girl. Girl, it's crazy to think that woman's community as is divided as it is, because the only thing that allegedly has been uniting y'all is dick. If only y'all could come together too for the femicide, for the sexism, for the patriarchy of it all, girl. Are y'all not tired of being united by dick, honey? Are y'all not tired of only having dick in common, girl? If only y'all could use all y'all infinity stones to come together on most substantive issues, girl, we could get something done in the evolution and fight to liberate women in a misogynistic, patriarchal man led, created as system. Y'all got more in common than just sharing the head of the same dick, sis. Y'all gotta run it up, run the likes up. Nonetheless, girl, this gag order got Tasha Coochie K in such shambles, girl, that when she ran to do the story on Nicki's sister dating Cardi B's ex Tommy, she had to blur out Cardi B's face, because there's a picture of Cardi B down there at the damn jailhouse hugging up on her jailhouse ninja. Y'all know she like a criminal girl. She dating an alleged abuser now. She was dating, a previous cheater girl. Baby, she likes the criminality and the chaos of it all, girl, okay? But Tasha Coochie K couldn't even reference Cardi. She couldn't even call her by name. She had to blur her face out. So Cardi B finally has put a butt plug in Tasha Coochie K's ass, baby. All right. So given all things, I do call this a victory. I'm happy that the ladies are able to reach a middle ground. And Tasha Coochie K, still has to take financial responsibility ultimately for, the damages that she did to Cardi B. So this is a really nice, beautiful bow, and hopefully all things will be quiet for them. Once again, Tasha Coochie K did reach a unconditional settlement with Kevin Hart as well. So shout out to Tasha Coochie K, girl, for, getting, right on by the literal mustache on her chin, girl. She be having to shave that motherfucking beard, bitch. Okay, like get it by, girl. So shout out to Tasha Coochie K, girl. I'll fuck with you, bitch. We know she ain't also learned nothing. This ain't teach her nothing, because even after her lawsuit against Cardi and she lost by a landslide, she has continued to put fake HIV allegations on people. She's put pedophile allegations on people. So no, this did not teach Tasha Coochie K anything. Tasha Coochie K is a reprobate, cotton-picking field slave who was birthed by a trick, coke, crackhead-ass mammy, and her frontal temporal cortex is completely injured, baby. Okay, so this is who the raggedy bitch is and will always be, baby. Okay, she will not ever evolve. She will not ever transcend, baby. Okay, she's stuck. Okay, her brain and soul is in part, girl. She's hellbound. Okay, she's condemned. So that's just what is going to always give. But nonetheless, shout out to a good God. And in the meantime, we just going to be moving along. Thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Now, let's get to Funky Dineva. You guys know we never was able to get to Funky and his actual feedback regarding Heavenly Child. Well, let's go ahead and do that. If you guys don't know, Dr. Heavenly of Married to Medicine, who was good friends with Funky Dineva, took to her YouTube channel where she does commentary and show reviews, and she made some offensive remarks about gay men, and they definitely flamed her bit back ass up on social media. She basically reduced gay men to being soft and bitch ass niggas, making them very different from the quote unquote real men who are heterosexual men. After she got flamed up by her good Judy Jerome, she came back and apologized and claimed that she misspoke and she meant no ill will, etc. Funky Dineva said this was really bothering him. He issued a statement on his Instagram and then also took to his YouTube show last night and continued to kind of bleed out about this this covert homophobic dynamic and tension between Black women and Black gay men. This is what he had to say about that. And of course, this is covered, of course, by Fair Motherfucking Use. Let me go ahead and put that up. All right, check this out.
I'm a gay boy first. I like the fact that y'all like coming over here, playing in my front yard. I respect the fact that y'all like to play in my treehouse and eat my snacks. But at the very end of the day, I am a gay boy first. And I have a different experience on this planet than Black women.
Look at Flame. Hey, Flame. Who says but her name is Heavenly? Sounds hellishly. Or period, honey. Y'all know, baby. Dr. Heavenly been out here on our TV screens giving people hell, baby, for years and years and years, y'all. Shout out to Flame Monroe in the building. You guys make sure y'all subscribe to Flame's podcast as well as her own YouTube channel right here on YouTube, baby. Love and light to you, Flame.
Than Black men. I am talking to my gay boys when I say things like, you need to watch out for fish. Okay? And I understand.
And if y'all missed our commentary, girl, on fish, how fish came to be, what fish is, y'all need to get into last night's live stream because we broke all of that down, baby, okay? Because I know fish is another term that is controversial amongst, hetero folk, just like the word cisgender. The term cisgender is just a word that creates an adverse reaction, child. We got into all that in last night's show.
And all of y'all don't think that way. But what you're not going to get me to believe,
a Tweety bird, baby, if we are starting to make you homophobic, then go find you a non-homophobic space to be in. Nobody has a homosexual GUN to your head. Nobody is asking you directly to be here. Nobody needs you to be here. No gay person needs you to support them. So you are more than welcome to find your stage exit to the left, baby. There are multiple exits over here on the Consciouztv platform, sugar, okay? And if you need the hate, then you go ahead and do that, because you can get that work like anybody else, sugar, okay? That hate gonna have you busting hell wide open, baby. Okay, baby. That hate ain't gonna take no sleep away from me. That hate ain't gonna take no sleep away from Funky Dineva, baby. That hate ain't gonna take no sleep away from nobody else, sugar, okay? So you go where the non-homosexuals are, honey, and you support those non-homosexual spaces. It is okay. I know some of y'all really be struggling to find y'all somewhere else to be, okay, baby? Y'all just be addicted to the cocoa, honey, okay, because I know we that addictive, baby. So better or for worse, sugar, you just can't get away from the cocoa. But let me affirm you being able to indulge in your hate. Let me affirm you being able to find your stage exit to the left. And let me affirm you busting hell wide open, sis. All right.
Is that all 6,124 of y'all who are on this chat right now, you're not going to gaslight me into believing that all of y'all are here for gay people and all of y'all support gay people. The overwhelming majority of y'all watch me and will still look me in my face and say things like, love the sinner, not the sin. I love the sinner, not the sin. Now, what type of backhanded shit
See how easy it was for me and Tweety to come to an agreement? You see how easy that was, y'all? Light and love to you, Tweety. Light and love to you, sis.
Okay, and then there is this expectation, I guess. Let me back up. Let me first take responsibility. The first thing is, I probably just shouldn't have even said nothing publicly about the heavenly thing, and my life would probably be a hell of a lot more peaceful right now. So
yes, Funky, please take responsibility, girl, because you have a consistent pathology of making really piss poor choices socially, sugar. At your big old age, with all that salt and pepper in your beard, it is time to grow up and to deepen your self-awareness.
I will eat that. I probably just shouldn't have said nothing. This wouldn't even been nothing. But the point that I want y'all to understand, even if it's not you, it's the bitch next to you. Okay? Y'all are not going to sit here and gaslight me into believing that when y'all are not in all female spaces, when y'all are not in the hair salon, when y'all are not at the bridal shower in the background, that the homophobic shit don't be going around. All right? And that when that girl over there gets mad when she's telling the story, we become every punk, faggot, and sissy in the book. All right? And you're not going to gaslight me into believing that when it happens, that you put your cape on every single time and you run around the hair salon educating people. No, you sit your ass there with your legs crossed, you keep reading your Ebony magazine, and you wait for Shanika to call you to get your hair washed. The reality of the situation, guys, is whether you like it or not, whether some of y'all agree with it or not, whether some of y'all are the biggest allies of the community or not, there still is a large portion of people who are not. And one thing that bothers me about...
Let me just capitalize off of that. It definitely happens. Just like we need to listen to women when women talk about what it's like to live in a patriarchy, the catcalling, the sexual harassment, the second classing of women that is definitely been put in legislation, which is why women of all races have had to fight for their rights. Certainly Black women have had to fight for visibility, equal wage, and there's still disparities on the books that are birthed out of sexism and patriarchy. The same is the case for homosexuality, which is why homosexuals, like the Black community, or queer people in general, trans folk, non-binary folk, same-gender loving folk, lesbian folk, etc., just like Black folk, just like women folk, just like Black women folk, just like Black men folk, have had to fight up out of their oppression because legislation birthed out of homophobia and queerphobia have been on the books. We are now seeing a overhauling and a literal political attack on all minority communities under this Trump administration. All the protections that were put in place by previous administrations, like Biden's or Obama's, are now being overhauled at an executive level, which are having a direct and intimate impact on Black communities, Latino communities, women's communities, disabled persons communities, children's communities, LGBT folks communities. So this idea that the world is pro-minority person is not. This idea that Black people don't perpetuate homophobia is not. And when queer people go to tell dominant society that they are homophobic, whether it's covert or overt, while that does not apply to literally every single heterosexual person, it does apply to a vast majority. And if not nearly 95% of the churches that are postured on every street corner in this country would not be preaching against homosexuality, because the pro-gay churches of America are still a minority to the vast majority. Queer people grew up not only having homophobic fathers, but equally had homophobic mothers who did not affirm them, had homophobic aunties that did not affirm them, had homophobic grandmothers that did not affirm them, went to school and engaged in communal spaces and work in society and experienced homophobia, queerphobia, transphobia perpetuated by women persons as well. This idea that homophobia just really kind of doesn't exist, or queerphobia doesn't exist, hell no. Queer people have a lot of trauma around the indoctrination of heteronormativity via religious ideology, via societal norms that were pushed and peddled and reinforced by both male and females, mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers, deacons and deaconess, prophets and prophetess. Okay, baby, this was a collaborative shit show between the polarities. Even on my platform, I every now and again get comments from women who literally see a man who identifies as a man, has a whole fucking beard, has a fucking Omarion hairline, okay, can't get no more masculine of a hairline, who will still comment under my videos and be like, girl, you need to stop being a woman. When was I trying to be a woman? I am feminine, but when was I trying to be a woman? Because my ID says male. I use he and him pronouns. I don't shy away from anybody who wants to reference my femininity in the she and her, because I'm comfortable in my femininity. I don't have no shame about my femininity at all. And yet, people who I'm not even bothering, people who I'm not even talking to, come into my space, invite themselves into my space to perpetuate their homophobia. And I get that from more women at this point than I even do men. So there is a notable denial amongst women's community. And I know why that denial is there. And it's because, relatively speaking, to men's community, women have been more historically and outwardly, quote unquote, supportive of queer people. But that's being also conflated for the fact that, oh, homophobia amongst women's community do not exist. It does exist. It just does not exist in the overt way that it exists in men's community. That's why Funky Anita is saying, yeah, it's all cool and it's all gravy when it's cool and gravy until it's either Mad Day or until you in church and your pastor is preaching down and bringing down hellfire on LGBT people, and you up in there clapping and praising and amen and while knowing that you got queer people in your life that you love, queer people in your life who you know are good people, who help you with your children, who help you in your relationship, who are there for you financially, and then will sit your ass in a church and clap and affirm somebody's explicit homophobia and condemnation amongst an entire group simply predicated on their gender and or on their orientation. These are the type of covert expressions of homophobia that queer people have experienced at the hands of their female counterparts. And does this make women's community evil? No, it doesn't make women's community evil. But when queer people are saying this phenomenon is there and this experience has happened to them consistently in their lives. For instance, I got a straight homeboy in my life whose relationship almost single-handedly collapsed because of his friendship to me. Initially, because, I was older in my friend's life than his relationship to his chick. So when she came into our life, okay, it was all good and gravy. It was all cool. Because, like all in denial, manipulative, narcissistic folk, they love bomb. They act like they good with this, that, and the third, and the fourth. But then as she grew in her relationship to my homeboy, and she got more insight into how deep and emotionally intimate his and I relationship was, I became a striking point of contention. This woman made me out to be an entire threat and started verbally and mentally abusing my homeboy, calling him the F word, saying he wanted to be with me, saying that he was cheating on her with me, etc. Even though me and my friend at that time hadn't even seen each other the entire time we had not seen each other physically the entire time he had even been with her. They fucking broke up, and then she continued, even in the aftermath of their breakup, to continue to weaponize homophobia against him, etc., fake outing him about something he was not even, all because she could not take our proximity to each other, and she could not take the fact that we loved each other and were supportive of each other and were consistent in each other's lives. And, can I be completely mad at her? Probably not, especially. Hold on, what am I trying to find here? Hold on. Can I be mad at her? Especially when I'm toting all this around. Can I be really mad at her, girl? When I got a fat ass and I know how to tote it. Okay? When the gay boy happens to be able to have the superpower of feminine energy, got a fat ass, got slick ass weave, girl, and is giving the girls and the boys a run for their motherfucking money out of here, girl. Can I be mad that I collapsed her self-esteem, girl? Not really. I get it. But at the same time, girl, you got to be emotionally intelligent and introspective enough, baby. Okay? To be able to differentiate between your self-inflicted fears that are birthing concerns and worries that are not actually rooted in truth and the actual truth, because there was no evidence that me and my homeboy had an inappropriate relationship. This was all birthed out of her own internalized misogyny, for one, all of her own socialization as a woman, who, you guys know, we always have this conversation, and I always let it be known that I believe that women as a whole deal with a lot of insecurities because society have treated women and socialized women to be personal chia pets. Women come into this world with beauty standards perpetuated upon them, social standards perpetuated upon them, and have always been made to be a maid to society. I feel like what has happened to women's psychology as a result of a patriarchy warrants reparations at this point, because the conditioning and the psychic injuries that women have to grow up to then unpack and dismantle and decolonize their brain from all of this fucking patriarchy, all of this submissive, out of context bullshit, out of this second class bullshit. The fact that this culture and society in the West, and really all nations in the world, have been grooming women since the time they've been girls to be personal maids to the culture. That's why y'all giving easy bake ovens. That's why y'all giving baby dolls. Y'all been groomed from the time y'all been children to be male identified, to be subservient to the culture and the community. These societies have not led in a way that sets women up to have autonomy, to have personal agency, and to be independent in their consciousness and their actuality and their persona. It's been the complete motherfucking opposite. It's been complete opposite. So when this issue showed up in my friendship, because my homeboy was like, if she would have called you, you better had laid her ass out. I said no. If she would have called me because she was that much in her feelings and she was raging out that bad on our friendship, actually, I would have felt sorry for her, because I know how this happened to her. I know what type of system she been socialized in. I know how she been raised as a woman, and I grieve for her. I grieve for women. You have so many women who have been so destroyed by being socialized in a patriarchy that you have women not even liking other women because of the issue of competition and competitiveness, and the fact that women are projecting their own inferiority and superiority complexes onto each other, making it hard for women to even band together, which is why you see the women's community just as fragmented and divisive as the LGBT community is. The LGBT community is just as divisive and fragmented as women's community is, for the same reasons. The Black community is just as fragmented and divisive as women's community, as LGBT community is, for the same reasons. White, capitalistic, racist patriarchy has done this to all minority communities. White, capitalistic, racist patriarchy has minority communities in a complete and utter choke hold. This is why the war for us not only has to be outward, it has to be inwardly. We have to win this war in ourselves against this socialization that all of us have been subjected to, that all of us have inherited by right of being birthed in this land that was stolen, colonized, and pillaged. by foreigners and alien forces and principalities and wickedness that resides in high places. So if his girl would have caught me, instead of me laying her ass out, I would have really just had to pray for sis, because she didn't even realize that she was destroying her relationship with the father of her child and the love of her life over what really is in fact her own insecurities. And she's not even responsible for why she's insecure. She's not even responsible for why she looks at another woman as a threat, or another trans woman as a threat, or a good-looking gay man as a threat. She don't even understand where her reaction comes from, where her fear comes from, where her defensiveness even comes from. But regardless, right, of how we all got here and who did it, it is our responsibility to clean it up, because that poison is killing us. It's not killing white people. That poison that's been put into Black women's community, women's community, LGBT community, Black people's community, it ain't affecting the people who did it. It's destroying us from the inside out. It's left our community and our community dynamics upside the fucks down. So yes, we not the reason we like this, but we have to take full responsibility for what was done to us by other individuals and liberate ourselves. And it ain't until that happens that all this tension between men, women, gay men, straight men, gay men, straight women, the Black community and gay people and trans folk and their peers, and that we finally gonna be able to take a united front. But baby, can I be mad at a baby? Look at a bitch. Look at a baby. A bitch is stacked, baby. I'm gonna bring out the insecurity in any goddamn body. I'm strong-minded. I'm strong-willed. I love hard. And if you're coming into our lives as the feminine principle, baby, you definitely have to have a confidence that is as tall as the Statue of Liberty. Because I'm going to love our man real hard. I'm going to love our man real deeply. And every time he spends time with me, baby, he's going to be around a big fat old ass. And girl, you going to have you together. You going to have it together, baby. When my weave is billowing in the wind, girl. When it's billowing in the wind, girl. When that wind just comes as a gust, girl. And I'm looking like a divine entity, baby, on Fantasy Island, baby. You gonna have to be able to hold it together at the ambiance of it all. Oh, yes, baby. Because CTV, girl, I grew up just with my presence alone, collapsing and challenging everything that's in everybody. I'm just going to draw out the fragile masculinity. I'm going to draw out the fragile femininity. I'm just going to draw it out just by existing, baby. Okay, I don't even got to do nothing. Just my literal existence and my aesthetics and the way that I show up, and with my personal mentality and me being clear about all my gifts, all that alone, girl, is just going to make me a solution to a lot of problems. But it's going to first reveal and expose the problems before we can get to the damn solutions. Boy, it's a mess out here. But homophobia in women's community, it is a real thing. It doesn't make women's community evil or bad, because at the end of the day, we all been socially programmed to be fucked up toward each other. You know, it's not about the fact that every community has its issues and every community participates in bullshit. We just gotta acknowledge it. We gotta own it, and we gotta take responsibility, and we gotta stand in it.
The female gender sometimes is y'all walk around and act like y'all carry the only license to pain and the only license to be able to vent. The same way y'all are able to stand up on platforms and say things like, y'all say things to y'all community all the time. Case in point, oh, if y'all see a bunch of men standing across the street at night, walk across the other side of the street because it ain't safe. Y'all don't see the male collective getting mad and getting up in arms or whatever the situation is, because it's the truth. All right? Listen, when I'm talking to my gay boys, I'm talking to my gay boys. And gay boys, y'all need to be careful of fish, okay? Because all them hoes ain't your friends, all right? And the overwhelming majority of them hoes, they want you to be their boyfriends, their husbands, their baby daddies, lick their wounds when these men out here treat them wrong. They want you to be their sounding board. They want you to listen to everything that's going on in their life, all right? Listen to all their woes, don't know nothing about yours, okay? And then the minute they get back in good graces with that Negro, or they get back in good graces with their good home girl, your ass is shitted on and pushed back to the side, all right? That may offend some of y'all. That's our experience with y'all. Some, not all. Some, not all. Some, not all. But that's our experience.
And let me corroborate what he's saying. He's saying that, look, it look all good, it look all great, it look all glamorous on the surface, baby, but there's a deeper underbelly that bleeds out. And to Funky Dineva's point, unfortunately, and look, I know y'all don't like this type of teaching, baby, but you know, we do the hard work, we have the hard conversations, and you know, you don't have to agree. You know, the truth ain't predicated upon whether you agree with it or not. You know, it just is what it is. And we can talk about it, but you know, the honesty is going to be very hard, because what he's saying, ironically, is perpetuated even when you use his reality TV star peers as an example, such as Nene motherfucking Leakes, who had to apologize to the queer community during one of these seasons of Housewives. And I'm not going to play the footage, but let me play the audio, because remember, this showed up during that season where Nene had the infamous a party that led to Apollo beating the hell out of Brandon, who was Kenya Moore's good Judy. And Nene Leakes, you know, was spouting that Brandon was a queen, and, you know, using it in a derogatory sense, attempting to, you know, emasculate him. And Andy confronted her about this covert homophobia on the following reunion. And this was the snarky, stank-ass remark that Nene made, you know, back to that point.
Nene, we got a lot of questions like this from Dave in Washington, D.C. Nene, are you aware that many of us in the gay community are livid at the way you repeatedly called Brandon queen and said it with homophobia dripping from your lips? How could you do that?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And yeah, baby, Andy was pressed boots, girl. Hold on, let me hear that again, girl. That's gonna be a soundbite. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
You said it multiple times, and you said it in a derogatory fashion.
You thought?
You did. I really did.
Really?
I did.
Okay.
Yeah. It came off that way to me.
If I offended you or anybody else in the gay community, and I apologize for that, since I never apologize. My heart is so cold.
Were you offended?
You guys know that I love the gays.
No, I was. I just told her that I was.
Girl, it was a mess, girl. She went on to snarkily say, girl, should I put on a parade to apologize for the gays, girl? A mess, okay? Also, his peers, such as Phaedra Parks of Housewives, another Black woman, courtesy of Blavity.com, Real Housewives Phaedra Parks' recent comments about Lil Nas X have fans upset. Fans of the Real Housewives of Atlanta have been pushing for the return of self-proclaimed Southern belle Phaedra Parks since her season 9 firing, but some have since turned against her. The Bible-thumping attorney is in hot water after her recent comments toward Lil Nas X. She apparently expressed her distaste for Lil Nas X's internet-breaking performance at the 2021 BET Awards. The openly queer rapper performed an Egyptian-inspired performance to his song, Montero. At the end of the performance, he planted a kiss on one of his male performers. The jaw-dropping moment received thousands of reactions, including support from Diddy. Oh my God, girl, that did not age well. But not everyone felt it was appropriate. One Instagram user posted a video ranting against Lil Nas X's performance, mainly the kiss. Per Screen Rant, the user said in the video, quote, "As queer men, we gotta do better." A Reddit user shared a screenshot showing that the video received a comment of support from Parks, who wrote, "Facts." Some are now calling out Parks for accusing her of being homophobic. Others are saying she now can stay off Real Housewives of Atlanta. One Reddit user asked, "Tell me again why she's a queen who needs a comeback." Another cited, "Thank you, Phaedra. Maybe funny, but as of now, her behind can stay gone." Another user said, "Shade gets a lot less fun when you realize it comes from a truly malicious person, though." Another chimed in. All right. Now, these are once again Black women in spaces with queer people, adopt their lingo, their language, shade, all this, all that, the colloquialisms, the mannerisms, the performance of it all. And then when it's time to really decide which side you stand on, which is, do your queer community and your queer peers have an actual humanity and deserve a dignified existence? Or are you in fact secretly just tolerating queer people because we ain't going no motherfucking where? Because a lot of times, to Funky's point, and me and Funky don't have the very same attitude about this, and I'll differentiate me and Funky in a bit. But to his point, I'm showing examples of this covert homophobia that's in the underbelly of Black women's relationships to Black queer people, particularly Black queer men. Then you guys know another female reality star, Portia Williams, also had to apologize for her anti-queer speech. Courtesy of Time.com, The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Portia Williams has apologized for a sermon that she gave 3 years ago that included comments criticized as anti-queer. Quote, "My heart was heavy and it's imperative for me to address this issue," Williams says in a video message released to people on Wednesday. Quote, "God loves all his children." Williams, 31, has been widely criticized after a controversial sermon she gave 3 years ago recently resurfaced online. Quote, "Re-Christians," now this is, oh girl, this is the queen of Thoughtland, okay? That's her self-appointed title. The Christian woman who is on her second divorce, which is also anti-biblical, who touts her body and has bodily autonomy and dress scantily clad as a woman, which is also anti-scriptural. A woman who participates in orgies and has sexual autonomy, that's also biblically, that's against biblical standards. A woman who has breast implants, who does not dress modestly, who indulges in makeup, that's also anti-biblical. So it's funny how folk get real Christian when it comes to their politics about queer people. But those same Christians will do every other non-scriptural thing while still upholding themselves as Christians, and then use the Bible to thump on the heads of LGBT folk. It's interesting how these self-proclaimed Christians will participate in gossip and all these other quote-unquote anti-scriptural things, but yet hold themselves to a holy standard and then cherry pick through the scripture and then weaponize the Bible against queer people while their entire lives are an entire mess, while they openly do daily things that are incongruent with biblical standard. But everybody takes a united front when it comes to LGBT folk. Everybody's homophobia galvanizes and becomes one fucking infinity stone when it comes to LGBT folk, including our so-called allies, including our so-called closest in kin, which for us would be women's community. This is what Funky Dineva is talking about. So, like Funky Dineva, nobody's going to sit here and gaslight me or gaslight other queer people, because we got trans folk in the comment section. We got non-binary folk in the comment section. We got lesbian folk in the comment section, and tell us what the fuck is not going on in our reality. That's what you're not going to do. That's what you're not going to do. You can either bow down and kiss the ring and accept the reality, especially when it's now been corroborated with receipts. And the receipts could be many, because if I have to come back and do a whole show and talk about the way that heterosexual people, men and women alike, have perpetuated in criminalizing homosexual people, criminalizing trans folk, we can go back through the history books. We can show what queer people have had to fight for in a so-called democracy, that now everybody is acting like they don't remember the history of and the attitude of America toward queer folk that's still being perpetuated today if you take one look and glance over at all of the executive orders that are being overhauled. So we're not going to motherfucking play with it. And like Funky Dineva, I'll clarify and say that, yes, of course, it's not all women, but it's also been my experience that the majority of the members of what I call dominant society, both men and women, have some degree of internalized queer phobia. Some people it's just more explicit and aggressive in, while other people have a more dainty form of homophobia. And the reason why a lot of our heterosexual peers, particularly women, don't believe that they per se are homophobic is because their homophobia is more covert, because they're not out here whipping gay people's ass, because they're not out here taking and claiming the lives of trans women, because they're not out here, you know, explicitly calling a queer person the F word, as we can see even from the examples that I just showed with reality TV star women participating in homophobia, that's not the only form of homophobia, because they have a dainty, softer homophobia. They don't think of themselves as homophobic. And it is. It's just as racist, right, as the Ku Klux Klansman, who does not put a big burning cross in his yard or doesn't walk around through the streets of Charlotte with a cone hat on, but is the everyday Paul and Jake living next door who will say that, hey, I like black people. I just don't want them living in my neighborhood. I love black people. I just don't want them marrying my daughter. The same way that you will hear a lot of black women say, I love gay people and I love my gay friends. I don't want my child to be gay. Or I love my trans sister. I don't want my son to be trans. I don't want my daughter to be trans. It's this type of cloak, compartmentalized, subtle, indirect, impersonal homophobia that women perpetuate historically, while men more so historically perpetuate the more aggressive, explicit homophobia. But it is there.
All right. So, like I said in my post, I have learned to navigate being considered less than since the 3rd grade. If I was to X out everybody in my life that had that belief system, if my gay boys were to X out everybody in their life that think that way, we'd have no family and we'd have no friends.
And shout out to you, Lee Williams, for being an integral, honest, and mature woman and not playing in queer people's face like queer people are self-imagining their whole entire lives and lived experiences and can find the strength in you to say, yes, me too, I am a hypocrite. I compartmentalize. I have queer people and hold some problematic beliefs about queer people simultaneously due to societal brainwashing, which is why this is not a blame session. This is a acknowledging session. Queer people, just like women's people, don't bring up their grievances with men, just like queer people don't bring up their grievances with their heterosexual peers to point blame. It's to provide a pathway to acknowledge the pain, the suffering, the trauma that these communities have endured as a result of ideology, as a result of societal and social constructs that are being reinforced and are devastating people's lives spiritually, mentally, emotionally, and sometimes leading to people's lives being taken because Black women are experiencing high rates of femicide as a result of men being socialized to believe that women are objects and are not people, but are things, are commodity. And as a result of women not being people, but a commodity, men in their unconscious greenlight physical abuse and sometimes even murder as a result of the dehumanization that's within the socialization of the patriarchy that is teaching and cultivating and crafting men. Same thing for homophobia and transphobia. Queer people, non-binary people, trans people are losing their lives, if not at the hands of their peers, due to ideology and social constructs and religious oddity, but are sometimes claiming their lives. There is an escalated rate of suicide amongst teen LGBT youth who cannot even go to school without amidst bullying and psychological trauma and hanging themselves in their closets, hanging themselves in the bathroom stall at school, taking their parents' GUN and blowing their fucking brains out. All because of the way people are taught to believe and see other human beings. And then also to double down and make things worse, run their ass to those voting polls and literally vote destructive, injurious legislation in place to drive the insanity and the blood further out into the goddamn streets. And you wonder why America right now is upside down? Because a part of the upside down is the result of the karmic debt America owes to its minority communities. The unrepented, unhealed, unaccounted injury and harm that's been done to Black folk, to women folk, to queer folk, to poor folk, to disabled folk, to all the folk of the folk. So approaching these conversations with a defensive attitude and with a self-induced denial ain't gonna do nothing for the culture. It ain't gonna do nothing for the people. It ain't gonna do nothing for the collective. But continue to turn this motherfucker inside the fuck out. Until people can do what Miss Lee Williams' show can do, and take a good 4K HD look at that motherfucking mirror and tell themselves the hard body, rotten core truth, not to induce shame, but to encourage reflection that can lead to correction and healing, then the divide is going to be the divide.
I'd have no grandmother. I'd have no mama. Okay, I'd have no uncle, them cousins over there. We'd have no friends. We would have no friends. All my devout Christians, we'd have no friends. So I mean,
it's fact, because me and Reckless just shared that last night. We have to compartmentalize and ration out the homophobia. You know, there's family members I got relationship to and that I love who are homophobic. And it's due to the church, it's due to society. But, you know, I have to ration between, okay, do I cut them off because they hold certain anti-queer politics and worldview, or do I not? And the way that I ration this, because this is why Dineva is still going to be friends with Dr. Heavenly, despite her attitude about queer men being lesser men than heterosexual men simply because of their orientation or their perceivable femininity. And it's because, like he said, if we literally had to go down a laundry list, and if we stood on principle to that degree, girl, most trans folk, queer folk, non-binary folk would be lonely, familyless to the bone, baby. You will have to cut off 99.9% of people in your damn life of the dominant class if we permitted ourselves to stand on that level of business. And to be honest, I'm actually standing on that level of business. I might can work with an anti-queer politic from a member of the dominant class if it's covert. Like my grandmother, like I said last night. My grandmother, when I came out to her as a teenager, she said, you know, I know what my Bible says about homosexuals. She said, but you my grandson, and I love you, and I want what's best for you, and I'ma always support you, no matter what. And after that, me and my grandmother were able to have a regular relationship, even as a church-going woman who was deeply religiously devout. She never strayed away from my orientation. She would ask me about my partners. She would, you know, invite them when she would invite me to family gatherings. She would inquire about how we're doing in the relationship, etc., while still holding her belief. And, you know, I think that's fair when it can just be a belief system. But when you use your belief system to actually mistreat people over things that don't concern you to begin with, over matters that are not causing harm to anybody to begin with, because what a dick in my ass got to do with you, bitch? What a dick in my ass got to do with you? What it got to do with you? I can call it even when the belief system, I can call it even when the belief system is just a belief system. But what you lead with is your humanity. When you are mature enough to be able to say, this is what I believe, but baby, I'm never going to get in your way. You deserve to be able to do what the fuck you want to do and to live your life accordingly. And as long as you ain't causing no harm to nobody and nobody's causing harm to you, boo, the best of wishes. And you got mamas or grandmamas or daddy or granddaddy's love. The problem in this country is that people are allowed to take their beliefs and then go stand in front of abortion clinics and make women feel horrendous about themselves and about a decision that only they have to live with, all because of what the fuck they believe. The problem in this country is when motherfuckers get to pile into the streets and disrupt gay pride events and festivals to hold up their pitchforks and their signs to tell queer people that they're going to hell just because of what those people believe. The problem is when people can decide that they don't want to serve blacks and they don't want to do business with blacks and they don't want to rent and lease to blacks. The problem is when people lead from their belief system rather than their God-given humanity. That's where all the conflict and civil warring comes from, when people are not mature enough to realize that I can believe what the fuck I want to believe. If you want to believe that homosexuality is a sin, you have every right to do that. If you want to believe that trans women are men and trans men are female, etc., you have a right to do that. The problem is when you take what you think and what you believe and attempt to get your motherfucking ass in front of my way. And when you step in my way, baby, I'm going to do what needs to be done to scoot your ass to the left, to the right, baby. You're going to get electric slid, baby. That's when it's going to be up. Because you're not going to stand in my way. You're not going to get in my way. You're not going to be a rock or a mountain for me. If you want to believe it, believe it. Because it does not take us changing our beliefs in order to have a structured and a sane and a safe society for all people, politically, economically, socially, etc. It just takes a common agreement on the fact that we all human and we all should have the right of choice. And can still be criticized for that choice. Or people can have an opinion about that choice. But everybody concede to not actually getting in anybody else's motherfucking way. Because the dick in my ass ain't got nothing to do with you.
When I said I have learned how to navigate things, y'all may not understand it. And you don't have to understand it. Okay? But this then, wanted me to get up and cuss her out and put her in her place, then I would have to do, it's 7,000 of y'all on here. I promise you, I'd have to X out 5,000 of y'all as well, who sit back and have the same closeted beliefs. And y'all do. Y'all do. I'm okay with gay people. I don't want my son to be one. How many of y'all sit up and watch me and key and all of that, and y'all would beat the shit out of y'all son if he came home and was me?
And if not, you beat the shit out of him. Allow his stepdaddy to regulate him. Allow his father to regulate him. Allow his brother to regulate him. Allow his uncles to regulate him. Allow the hoodlums and the heathens in the neighborhood to regulate him.
So nah, bitch, you ain't finna gaslight me into believing that. You ain't finna, y'all hoes ain't finna gaslight me into believing. And Ashley, you say it's ignorant, and it can be. Turn me off. Turn the page. It's my/our experience. It is. Now, I will say this. I thank you. And
women follow Dineva for the same reason that Dineva still follow women. Because we all compartmentalizing. Like Funky Dineva said, Heavenly is gonna say the fucked up shit she say and never really take responsibility for what's wrong about what she believes. But he also gonna always have a problem with it. So that's gonna be her choice. That's gonna be his choice. And then he does the 60-40 rule. Well, the friendship is beneficial. The friendship is transactional. We have a good time. At the end of the day, yes, she think that ignorant ass shit, but I still come over for dinner. I know the kids. I have a great relationship to her husband, her people, etc. So, yes, I'm annoyed that her thinking about shit is ignorant, or she's not really taking responsibility, especially as a public figure, for the shit that she say out loud. But am I going to throw her entirely away? And like Funky said, if he got into business, like if most queer people got into the business of having to throw people away because they have some perceived homophobia looming somewhere, baby, queer people would be single and lonely. So he's done his 60-40 calculation, his 80-20 calculation, his 90-10 calculation, just like women are doing their 60-40, because as much as women complain about men, they still out here fucking them. As much as women will say that men are unsafe, men are abusive, men are rapists, etc. They still fucking them. They still procreating with them. They still looking to be chosen and married and wedded by them. They're still making fathers out of them. They're still choosing to be employed by them. They're still living in communities with them. They're still supporting those men in the pulpit because everybody is doing a 60-40, 40-60, etc. Because the whole society is fucked up. There ain't no perfect community. All of these communities have their problems. All of these communities have their issues. All of these communities have their injuries. So none of us can afford, women can't afford to stand on total principle either. They can't, because what would happen to women if women went down the laundry list of all the motherfucking misogynistic, heathenistic, destructive, violent ass, or emotionally immature men in their life? They would be menless. They would probably have to cut off their brothers, cut off their pastors, cut off, etc. So women still follow Dineva for the same reason that Dineva still follows women.
Acknowledge those of y'all who are true allies. I do. And I am going to learn to try to lean on y'all a little more than. But it's the same thing that Muhammad Ali said about white people and snakes, all right? He said, if I'm standing somewhere and I see a bunch of rattlesnakes coming towards me, okay, am I going to stand there hoping that 1 or 2 or 3 don't bite me? Or am I going to run because I know rattlesnakes bite? It's the same thing, guys. Yes. I acknowledge that there are a lot of y'all who are true allies, and so on and so forth.
Yes, they are. They are genuine, wholehearted, fully evolved allies to the LGBT community amongst Black women's community. That is absolutely true.
But me and my gay boys cannot go out in this world, navigating the world like the collective, like the female collective is a safe space for us, because it isn't. And it's not to invalidate those of y'all who support and those of y'all who are true allies, but the collective is not a safe space for us. That's that on that. I hope so.
I'm going to drop the link and let the Conscious crew who missed out on the show last night come up and speak. If y'all want to speak to what's being said, what's being communicated, what's being narrated, if you were here last night, you are welcome to hit the link again. If you missed the show last night, you are welcome to hit the link to come up and give your input, no matter what that input is, to speak your piece about the things that are things, girl, because, baby, we got to communicate, honey. We got to talk about it. We got to reason together. We got to ask each other questions. We got to sort through the things, honey. We got to sort through the things, child. So I just dropped the link. Y'all run the likes up until they are absolutely stuck. We need all of that. We're working. Once again, girl, this is the juiciness of the Consciouztv platform, baby. We get into the mess and we get into the rest as well, baby. Okay, we get into the mess and the rest. I want to welcome Whitney to the platform. What's going on, the Whitney? Can you hear me, Whitney? You're on mute, boo.
Hey, Conscious. Hey, everybody. Hey.
Hey.
Oh my goodness. I have been waiting to have this little live because, and I don't know if you've discussed this before. Let me pull up my notes because I wrote this down. So I was saying that I think that Funky is an example of having like an acceptable level of unhappiness, because I don't know if you watched the he did a live where he went on a little rant about how Black women are like at the bottom socially and how he would never trade places with us. That was his rebuttal to someone accusing him of being jealous of Black women. And he went on a rant saying those things. And as a gay Black man, he still has patriarchy on his side, which will always have him trumping Black women, and he'll never be jealous of us, basically. But at the same time, he wants to be amongst the Heavenlies and the Tamars of Atlanta. So I think that he's just accepting that Dr. Heavenly isn't what her statement that she made the other day. I think he is willing to accept those things to sit amongst them. And I do think that Funky is very hurt. I don't know if he had the best examples of women growing up.
He didn't. I think his mom was a crackhead and she was like
Oh
abusive.
gosh.
Yeah, I think that she was on drugs and she was like very abusive and very just like ignorant and kind of like low vibrational. So he definitely had like a
Yeah.
very turbulent childhood. And then when I was thinking about this issue too last night, I was like, oh, I kind of like understand his like psychology because we've had to drag Funky Dineva plenty of times on this platform, honey. We had to drag him over his anti-Black comments about Blue Ivy's hair. We dragged the shit out of his ass. We had to drag him over the over harshness toward Chloe Bailey. We had to get in his ass when all of that shit happened on TGIF. We've had to tug like a motherfucker.
And
For me, I always let people know I'm an equal opportunity platform. I don't overly cape for any one community. Anybody can get it. I don't give a damn about them being gay, trans, straight, woman, male, etc. I'm an equal opportunity hand-outer and evangelist of righteousness. And because no community is absolved of wickedness, evil, disrespect, low downness, scandal, etc., it means that everybody else is qualified to get that work when they need it. But I was thinking about his origin story and was like, a bad demonstration from his mother and whatever else happened in his upbringing, coupled with the doubling down of homophobia that he's getting from the left and the right, like most queer people, from the men and the women of his life. That definitely has catered to Funky's, because there is an air. I don't think Funky hates women. I think that Funky just don't take no shit from women, and that becomes conflated with him so-called hating. And we've had to deal with this issue on this platform here, where there are women people who believe that women that men shouldn't be able to talk back to them, or that men shouldn't be able to rebuttal them, or that men should allow, or that men should remain submissive and quiet, or not erect their voice or their defense of their character when it's being assassinated, etc. And Funky Dineva completely throws up a big ass middle finger to all of that. He doesn't give a fuck. If if you need that, you can get that. And if you come for him, he's going to equally come for you. And like Funky Dineva, he's experienced a lot of influx of homophobic women who, like me, they're going to tell him, you're trying to be a woman, you need to stop being a woman, you're not a woman, you're not a this, you're not a that. And that's what birthed his responses of, well, think about what you're saying to me. Why would I want to be a woman, particularly a Black woman, when Black women don't even want to be Black women? When Black women are talking about being the least unprotected and the least appreciated, and you're under the belief that I would want to trade places with you as a man in a patriarchy. The math don't even math.
Right.
So all of those critics put themselves in a position to have the math boomerang back to them as a rebuttal. And these things literally wouldn't happen if people just stayed in their respected places. Because if you don't like gay people, why are you in a gay person's chat being homophobic?
Yes.
Why would you be here if you are homophobic and you don't see it for queer people, and you have, this, that, and the third, and you don't believe we should have a right to do this and to do that, and we're sinners and we're going to hell and blah 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 blah, like, are you okay? So yeah, queer people will flame it up because it's the only superpower we have living in a world that's judged us every turn of the way is our intellect and our slick ass destructive mouth. But go ahead, Whitney. Go ahead, boo.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for all of that. And I was just gonna say that I understand Funky's low tolerance. I do. And while we're all on our journey of healing, the same way that we've all been hurt, we just have to give each other a little bit more grace. And I've been able to see through Funky's pain for a very long time, just the way that, when he starts talking and he'll kind of change his voice when he like represents a Black woman, like all of that is pain that is just seeping out to me. So I still love Funky. I don't really follow him anymore,
My question
but
to you,
hmm?
and my question to you is, what do you think about the women who are in pain and project that on to him?
I think that it's all bad. I think that, like I said, we all just have to give each other more grace. Um,
And how can we do that if you have large bundles of denial that are perpetuated by members of the dominant class? When you have people denying that these things are happening to people, that this is not people's lived experience, that this is not showing up in people's lives, how can we get to a grace when the only people holding dominant members of society accountable for what they're doing are the people who are on the ugly receiving end of that stick?
mhm.
It's not going to help if everybody else is piling into the conversation to deflect from the evil the society is doing and hyperfixating on the responder. That is a gross mischaracterization of the issue, and where the accountability and the attention should be not on the responder. What's causing the fucking responder to respond the way that they're responding? And we don't, as a society, specialize more in that. We didn't look at the responding party and then pick them apart and do the psychoanalyzation on them and have the congressional hearing on them, and then completely ignore the gaslighter and the narcs and the abusers in the situation.
Right.
Because he's not making these statements in isolated. I mean, he's not making these statements in a vacuum. Like he's sitting in his gay ass space, being his gay ass self, and people asking for that work, and they're getting that work. But to Scotty's point, there's also been moments where Dineva's reaction to certain things happening within the culture have been unwarranted, and he's had to apologize and correct himself, because to your point, Whitney, I do believe Funky does need therapy. He clearly does have a contention in him that maybe is the result of objective unhealthy interactions with women. Even though Funky also tugs on everybody's wig like I do, he's an equal opportunity. He drags Black men, he drags Black women, he drags anybody who needs that work. But I think we also have seen enough instances throughout his journey as a content creator that definitely suggests that there may be some things in his underbelly and his own life experience that he hasn't healed up, and sometimes it does bleed through his presentation or his critique or his commentary. I definitely agree with that. And I think he should kind of like eat the meat and spit out the bone, and maybe take a deeper look at that maybe there's some things there, and go get into therapy, because just like Dr. Heavenly, Funky Dineva has a massive platform. And if he's unhealed as a commentator, he risks kind of weaponizing his platform unnecessarily and maybe doing more harm than good, simply because of the position he's in. So I would want him to get therapy just as a person, but I also would want him to get therapy because he has a massive platform. And the better he is as a human being, the more effective his commentary can be when he is talking about his own experiences, or he's reacting to things in the culture that can kind of make for a better end result than sometimes what it produces.
Hello, how are y'all doing?
Hold on for 1 minute, boo. Are you complete, Whitney? Or is there anything else that you want to add to your point?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that I totally agree, and I do think that therapy is the solution, because we know
Yes.
where we are now, but we also know that if therapy is required, then that's something that we need to do so that we aren't in this constant loop of being upset with each other regarding this topic. So that's all. I'm gonna drop down. I have to go. I'm gonna go back to the chat.
All right, boo. Thank you for being here. That was our Whitney Hershey's Kiss.
Hi, how y'all doing? I'm not
Hi.
gonna be long at all. I'm getting ready for work. I'm gonna be very, very
Okay, boo.
quick. Thank you so much for having me. Can y'all hear me clear?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay. I am a fan of Funky. I do want to start by saying that I have been watching him ever since I think like 2018. I was kind of late to the Funky Bunch, but I've been watching him for a while now. And I don't agree with everything he does, and I don't agree with everything that he has to say about women. But in this particular situation, with this particular person and the way that he feels that he should speak to help protect other gay guys who befriend cishet women, I agree with him on this.
Mm,
And this is why I agree with him. And the reason I agree with him is because I try to empathize with people. I
yeah.
put myself in their shoes. And if you have to be the assistant or the makeup artist or the tag along friend on some reality show to get your coin, then by all means do what's necessary. I'm getting ready to clock in for some white man right now. I know that this man doesn't care about my well-being. I know he doesn't care about how I strive economically, but this is what pays the bills. So here I go. I'm going to work. So if that's what you have to do, that's what you have to do. But as far as choosing friends, I know that a lot of people in the LGBT community choose their family.
Yeah.
They also need to be choosy about their friends the same way. The same way. Choose your friends the same way that you choose your chosen family. And that's a lesson that we could all learn when it comes to choosing friends, because everybody is not an honest friend. We think that they're your friend all the way up until you start making more money than them. And then they start thinking, oh, well, I'm a woman and he's a gay man. How dare he get that? And I don't have it first. And then it's time for you to go down the aisle and get married to your husband. And all of a sudden, well, I can't go to your wedding because I don't believe in I. Was it a friend? You have to learn how to choose your friends wisely. I have no problem with him speaking for his community, talking about how you need to choose your friends wisely. I have no problem with it. Now, do I agree with everything that he got to say? No. He
Right.
said some colorist things against what's
Blue
the
eye.
lady from Basketball Wives and all that.
Doja.
It be certain stuff. Yeah, it be certain stuff that he say. And what's the lady she was beefing with? I forgot her name, but I don't always that. Yeah, that was one thing that I disagreed with, but I just took it as a place of ignorance, because if you're not in the shoes of the person, then you're not going to know exactly what they're going through. It's one quote that I've been living by lately a whole lot, and I like to tell people all the time:
Yeah.
you are forever a student of a demographic that you are not a part of. You will never master the issues of a demographic that you are not a part of. And I think that a lot of us Black women need to check ourselves and understand that just because the world puts us in pain and we've been going through a whole lot of stuff, it does not give us the right to walk around with our nose up thinking that we've mastered what's going on with the LGBT community. We will never be them. We will never go through the things that they go through. We will never master a demographic that we're not a part of. And everybody that ain't a black woman, they ain't gonna never know everything about being us either.
Yeah.
So when it's time for us to take the platform and speak about what's going on with us, I think that we need to be more lenient and allow him to take the platform to speak about what's going on with them in particular. Because people are tired of just being a makeup artist, but then you mess around and find out that they're not your real friend. And
Mm,
that's the thing.
yeah. Yeah. Wow. Beautifully spoken. Hershey's. Wow. Very I'm kind of overwhelmed by the humility here.
Yes, thank you for that.
Okay. Anything else you want to add, Hershey's?
Well, I'm about to go work for the white man, y'all. He ain't my friend, but I'm just
You
going to
finna
work
get
to
to
get
her
the car.
you finna get to her
I got
six
some,
forty
I got
child.
to go get the money.
Yes.
Okay, y'all. Thank y'all for having
Okay,
me. Bye
boo.
bye.
That was our Hershey's, y'all. I want to skip over Lux because she's in transit, so I'm gonna get to Demi. Hey, Demi. Hold on, wait. Not Demi. It's actually Aaron. Hey, Aaron.
Hey, Demi can go. Demi can go before me. Hey, how you, conscious?
I am well. How are you? And since you're already speaking, yeah, oh, you can proceed. Go ahead, boo.
Okay, I mean, I'm just sitting and listening, but I mean, just
Oh no,
as
you
her.
can't. Go ahead.
Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying, like, I agree with what Hershey was saying. As in, just I love all my, I love all my women and my
Yeah,
biological sisters. I
because
love
you
them
are
in like.
a trans a woman. For people who don't know.
Oh yes, yes, I
Yeah.
am a trans woman, and I have a lot of women, especially biological biologically born women that are my allies. They are also friends of mine, and I actually just I look up to a lot of them,
Hmm.
and a lot of them are have been great friends of mine, and they still are. But just like her, she was just saying, I'm starting to learn to choose my friends wisely and to really start tapping into the spirit of discernment more because and like she said, I don't agree with everything Funky says,
Yeah.
but I also, in conscious, you have had this experience maybe as well. It just seems like, and I think it's probably in any situation, but I can speak for me and some people of our community. It's like
Hmm.
certain women, not all, but certain ones, we become friends or close friends. We divulge in each other's secrets. We confide in one another. But the moment we get into an altercation, or not even an altercation, just a miscommunication, or just something, then it becomes, especially towards a gay guy or a trans woman, you're nothing but born, you were born a man, you're this, you're that, and it just becomes just more than what it's really supposed to be. So I guess I'm kind of learning how to choose my friends wisely, but I would say
I
with
remember I
Funky,
shared the story about how my friend's girlfriend completely flipped out, when she got deep into her relationship to him and then saw how deep his and our relationship were. And it led to the collapse of their entire relationship. And they got a child together and everything.
and
And
that,
and she started off comfortable and praising me, and then her insecurities crept in when she saw how close we were, which you know I guess was due to the fact that she wasn't accustomed to gay men and straight men being able to be as close as
right.
he and I were. So yeah, I've been in all of those type of situations. There hardly hasn't been one straight friend I've had who's had a girlfriend that eventually didn't become spooked and nervous. That
For
eventually did
real?
not become spooked. Yeah, it showed up in nearly every one of my friendships to my heterosexual male peers, where their woman initially was cool and tried to hold it together and then started collapsing like the Twin Towers eventually.
And see, that happened to me recently. And I can attest to this. A friend of mine, just like I told you a few lives back, known him for 12, about like 12 years. We've been friends. And not that it's any of his business to tell me whoever he's messing around with or with the girlfriends that he's in relationship with. That's not my business. But at some point, I guess they started dating officially in 2016. Just recently, she had a baby by him. And she ended up finding out about me and him. And she was mentally, just mentally like and emotionally just abusing him and calling him out of his name and calling him, oh, you're a faggot, you mess with that tranny girl. Just going all off. And like you say, conscious, I guess it's probably, I don't know what it is, but I guess it's probably a part of them. Some women that are just, I don't
I
know.
really feel bad for women because because women have been bred to compete because of the lack of autonomy that they've been affirmed to have, and it's resulted in unconscious insecurity that's then translated into competition. And this is why
Yeah.
a lot of women don't even like dealing with other women. They don't trust other women. They don't trust trans women. They don't trust, gay men. Because unfortunately, because of the way women been socialized, it's just led to this kind of mutated self uh attitude, and it's just unfortunate. And that's why I was telling my homeboy, because he was like, if she would have called you and confronted you, like, I hope you would have like snatched her edges completely to the left and to the right. I was like, no. I said, because I actually feel bad for her. I'm watching her destroying something meaningful in her life all over her own insecurities,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate because in a patriarchy, women are not responsible for their insecurities. But in order to live a quality of life, women unfortunately do have the burden of undoing what patriarchy has done. And when that work is not being prioritized, it's just going to lead to these inferiority complexes. It's going to lead to this paranoia and this concern over things that are not necessarily even completely objective and real. It's only real in them. It's real in their consciousness. It's real in their psychology, but it's not actually something that's taken place. And so you're looking for issues that don't exist and causing conflict that's not necessary, all because you don't have the ability to be introspective and to deal with what is creating this adverse reaction to certain stimuli to begin with. So my heart goes out to women's community. My heart goes out to the gay community because trans women have a similar dynamic amongst trans women. It's divisive, it's competitive, all for the same reasons.
Oh, yeah.
Patriarchy. Gay men have the same contention amongst each other because of the issue of patriarchy and this kind of um lack attitude. And when people have a lack attitude and on top of that have not been properly nurtured and affirmed, you end up competing with everybody in society. And that only leads to the fuckery and foolishness of it all and all of these interpersonal experiences. But go ahead, Boo.
I was going to ask you, do you think that men play a part in that? Like heterosexual men? I'm not
Yes,
saying your
yes, yes.
friends,
Yeah.
but I,
When I
I
say when I use the term patriarchy, yeah, I'm talking about the matrix that men have created. Because women were not allowed to co-create in this matrix that we live in, because women, remember, didn't even have rights, couldn't even vote, couldn't even work, and uh only even had a up in society when they were married to men, only had rights that were inadvertently given to them by being married. So we can't even blame women for the way that, especially the system in the West, is created, because women were not even allowed to participate in it. So this paradigm that we're all living in and having to decolonize and unmantle is the fantasy of heteronormative heterosexual men,
and
which is why
I was just going to say that with some, I think some women probably have that ignorant way of viewing some people from our community or the queer community. I think men play a part of that when the woman finds her boyfriend or her husband, I guess, going through his text and finding that he had like another male fuck buddy or a trans woman fuck buddy, and then it becomes just this and that, and then when she finds that out, he denies that person, that gay guy or that trans woman, and like, I don't mess with them and I don't mess with gay guys. I don't do all of that. And so it just, I don't know if it, like you said, it reinforces that. And it's kind of like it's just in them when they deny our existence or deny whatever relationship that they have with, certain gay men or certain trans women. I guess it just fuels that part in some women to just hold on to that ideology of just like, I guess, homophobia and transphobia. I may be wrong, but that's kind of how I kind of
Yeah.
got to that conclusion.
Yeah, it's a man-made world, and we have to decolonize all of this shit. We got to get out. We have to give ourselves permission to have an out of body, a out of intellect experience, and revisit everything we've been taught, everything that we've been taught as children, everything we've been taught religiously, and really evaluate that stuff when we grow our intellect, re-examine it, see if we still feel the same ways that we maybe did 10 years ago, or if we ever even gave ourselves an opportunity to even understand, did I even choose this shit, or was I given these beliefs? Because I don't
Right.
recall ever even really having a choice. I was just taught and kind of had shit hammered in my head. Are these even really my own beliefs? Are these even really my own thinking? Have I really actually ever revisited my brain and just rearranged data and went in with the creative right to go in, because it's my mind and I get to decide what reality looks like and what it is, and reclaim my imagination, reclaim my intellectual outlook on life, reclaim it. A lot of people have not reclaimed their brains. They are just perpetuating indoctrination without even realizing that they never even chose to begin with. Just like most people never chose Christianity, they inherited Christianity.
Yeah.
They were never
Yeah.
even exposed to any other religious system. They don't even know if they would even find more favor and fulfillment in other belief systems, because they were born into an already preconceived, pre-structured reality and just had it repetitively downloaded into them, and then live their whole lives from philosophies and ideas that they once again never even had the opportunity to choose for themselves. Most people are completely disconnected from who they are. They've never even given them, they don't even really know who in fact they are. They're just operating as deep fake AI in the world. They're operating as artificial fucking intelligence. Most people don't even know that they are AI. Most people don't even know that they're just robots carrying around programs by families, programs by countries, programs by cultures, programming, and have not reclaimed their lives and their brains intellectually. This why y'all come here and y'all support the Consciouztv, because no other content creator, baby, can give it the fuck up like we give it up on trendy news and hot topics and celebrity gossip. Nobody can transform a conversation, baby, like the CTV, honey. So shout out to the Conscious crew and everybody in the building, and give me a thumbs up. Let me also get to Demi. Can you hear me, love?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, welcome to the platform, boo. Your thoughts on the teams?
Yes, so I want to first say thank you, Conscious, again for always holding people's feet to the fire. Like, I love that about your platform. I've been following you. I think I told you on my I couldn't log into my YouTube channel, Brave Gator Nebo, because whatever fucking reason. So I was like, let me get my ass
I know
over
who
to
you are, baby.
right. Hop onto my Facebook, because I'm like, I
Yes.
speak on this right here. So
Yes.
you've been tearing people's ass up since I was in the Navy in Hawaii. So I just want to thank you first for
Thank you,
always holding
baby.
feet to the fire, because you got kept me laughing and thinking and growing
Thank you,
spirit.
baby.
And it is beautiful, and that's why
Thank you.
I'm still here, because you give it up how you give it up. So I just want to say that first.
Thank you, baby. I appreciate that.
So, as it pertains to Funky, now I love me some Funky Dineva. Yes. I've been following his crazy ass since I was in Spain in 2011 when he came on the scene. I was like, I didn't understand it at first, but then once he started to break it down over the years, I was like, okay, cool. And then he started making all his different transitions into the mainstream and getting with all these celebrities. Cool. I was, all right, cool. Again, I don't agree with everything he says, and I love that one person who came out. I think her name was it Hershey or Raspberry?
Hershey.
I gotta make sure I'm gonna listen back to this after so I get that quote. I love that. I love how she put that. I'm like, ooh, I gotta use that. That's good. He definitely is looking like he definitely needs some therapy. I want to say in one of his shows he did acknowledge that at one point. That made me something he probably have to talk with a therapist about. And I'm like, yes, because there's definitely some deep seated, hatred in there, just a little bit. But I do agree with what he was saying, and as far as like the gay boys do need to use their discernment because Conscious, just like anyone else, like the gay guys, they go to the females for solitude, vice versa, and so it can also be could be a little volatile relationship, especially when they get mad at you and then want you every punk and all this in the Western. I'm just like, oh girl, I don't think those are your real friends right there. Like I think again, using discernment, like knowing who your true friends are. And I had to find out as well the hard way, like people will try to set you up. Females will try to set you up. Like if you grew up in the hood, like I did in Atlanta, females will try to set you up if they don't really fuck with you like that. And so I don't have time for that, Conscious. I'm done fighting if I have to get back out in the field. But I got too many fucking female battle cat cousins and sisters that will line these bitches' grills up the right way for fucking with me. I'm just on him putting it out there right now. Like, I don't even argue with people no more on the internet. I was just really sitting back like, damn, I understood where he was coming from. Again, I was like, ooh, Nessa, like when he made the initial post, and I was like, and I read the caption, I was like, ooh. I'm like, he about to get this shit started. I'm like, and then when I watched the show last night, I feel where he's coming from, but I'm like, Nessa, a lot of people are not gonna receive this.
Already. Yep.
I was like,
they don't like this kind of teaching.
Right. And I was like, oh girl. I was like, here we go. So I really do hope he does get some therapy. It's really sad that we're in the state of affairs with, that current Tangerine in office. And we need to be definitely unifying right now. But we, again, still have to be mindful. Like, not everybody fucks with gay people like that. And I'm just like, girl, y'all make it seem like we chose this shit. Like, girl, like, we all have some level of struggle and stuff. And so I got to see it real bad. I love me some T.S. Madison. Baby, the way every time she gets into it with someone like Tasha K or Just Hilarious, I purposely went under the Shade Room's track. I don't follow them. I purposely, every time they would post T.S. Madison's response and not what initiated that,
the instigator,
I will hop my ass in the comments, make sure I see who I'm following that agrees with a lot of the homophobic shit that be down there in them comments. On all these blog sites. And I was like, oh, that's a person right there that I know I won't be able to trust. You wouldn't believe how many people I had to unfollow and remove from my following, Conscious.
So what do you think about what fucking Dineva said when he said, if most queer people actually, like if they were willing to be committed to that level of like, getting rid of the toxicity in their life and their social circles as it relates to homophobia, transphobia, queerphobia, most queer people would be familyless and friendless.
Oh, absolutely. I'm currently dealing with that with my own toxic mom. Like she claims that she's now bisexual and stuff, but she will be the first one to hurl out a gay slur to someone that she don't know or that doesn't like, that she feels is gay, and then she also weaponizes it when she's like, well, I heard such and such's daughter is a dyke. I'm like, girl. And she was like, such and such's son is a punk. I was like, your whole oldest son right here is a punk, girl. What the hell you like? What are you doing? Like it's I completely agree with it. Like there's a lot of people in the South, especially.
Do you think that queer people are wrong for tolerating it or staying in friendship, staying in intimate relationship to people who hold dehumanizing ideology? Because I know what some women are going to say. Some women are going to rebut to what's being said and say, well, gay men used the word bitch, and when they upset it's bitch, 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 ho, ho, ho. But the difference between bitch and ho and the F slur and The homophobia is that bitch and hoe are about behaviors. They're not about your humanity.
Exactly.
Bitch is a reference to an attitude, a stankness of your attitude, not your humanity. The homophobia is about the attack on the humanity of the individual.
Yes.
You don't have queer people perpetuating ideas that women are not equal, that women don't deserve equal right and equal autonomy and equal economy. There's no attack from the queer community on women's humanity. Homophobia, transphobia, queerphobia is an attack on the humanity.
Literally every time. I'm just like, girl, like, so for me, like I think you said it earlier, if it's beneficial to him, he's gonna numb himself to it. I know a lot of us have to again compartmentalize and numb ourselves to stuff and only tolerate as much as we humanly can by, you know, whatever boundaries we have.
Yeah.
I personally I've become extra strict with that. If you're not someone I have history with, you've proven time and time again that you're not like that. Again, using that discernment, I'm like, I have a good core group of girls, Black women, that I can count on one hand, that have never given me that impression, that have never given me that they secretly hate gay people, unless they some good ass actors. I have not. These are the same ones that'll bat for me. These are the same ones that have given me money when I was down, and that will still like be like, friend, you got a bitch that's fucking with you. You don't worry about it. We'll beat them bitches ass. Like I fucks with them the long way, and I'm like, those are my true friends, true allies. And if he wants to, what I guess, you know, for superficiality reasons, stick with heavily and any other of the celebrities, that's his prerogative. I personally wouldn't do it, but you know, again, I ain't making his type of money also, or whatever the case may be. So again, I'm not gonna do it conscious. I got my core group of people. I'm good. I'm not accepting any new friends or whatever. Again, after that whole T.S. Madison situation, a lot of people that I was really cool with was up under there. I was like, and y'all think I'm gonna go hang out with y'all and some shit pop off and y'all gonna push? I gotta fight you and the motherfucker. Oh hell no! Oh no, ma'am.
I understand, baby. I understand.
I'm like, oh no, ma'am. Y'all ain't gonna have me out here windmilling in the parking lot.
No.
And girl, listen. You supposed to be on my side, girl? No. So yeah, I really do feel like
because I'm at that age too where it's like I observe and adjust, baby.
There you go.
I ain't fighting with you, baby. I ain't stirring the pot, baby. I'm gonna observe and I'm gonna adjust.
Observe and adjust. I'm using that as well. Thank you. But yeah, those are my thoughts on that. I just hope he does get his therapy that he needs. And oh boy, he sure does know how to gaslight.
Yes, you know, he's going to troll the society that's trolling him, so he trolls back.
Oh yeah, he definitely does.
He gaslights back.
Oh yeah, But thank you, Conscious. That's all I really.
So much, Demi. I appreciate that, boo. That was our Demi, y'all. And to the person who asked earlier, did me and my friend explain our friendship? I mean, my friend had to do a lot of the explaining, which I mean was kind of unnecessary. The explaining is we friends. What is there else to explain? Like we love each other and we had no problem demonstrating love. So yes, he told me he loved me. I tell him I love him. We share affections. Hey, you know, we tell each other we miss each other. We had a very a very strong emotional bond. But it wasn't an inappropriate relationship by far. And it was a very supportive friendship, supportive official relationship. When he would call me about her, I would encourage them to go to couples therapy. I would try to get him to understand her angle of things, you know, and the whole time she's overlooking all of that because she can't get past how emotionally close we are. She can't.
Do you mind if I ask you a question? So, like, was she like cool with you?
In the beginning, yeah, like in the beginning, like when she had no choice, because I was there before her. You know, I'm older in relationship to him than she is in relationship to him. So she came into our lives. I didn't come into their lives. She came into ours. You know, yeah.
So what was that? I'm just trying to understand. So what was her core issue then?
And here's the gag: she has a whole gay best friend. She has a whole good Julie. But yet, when she got upset at he is in our relationship and started flipping out, she calling him the F word and
Oh,
all of this and
God.
all of that, and she got a whole bench. That's the kind of shit Dineva talking about. That's what Dineva is talking about. It literally is real life. And so yeah, she was cool. We was cool. Everything was cool. But once again, as she grew in her affection toward him, that territorialness, that protectiveness,
Mhm.
those insecurities started to turn into her discomfort with him having such a close bonded relationship to me. And then because like most women, she live in a world where she's not accustomed to seeing straight men and gay men actually have a normal relationship, because that's what a close relationship is. It's just a normal fucking relationship. It's a relationship that's not informed by homophobia. It's not informed by patriarchy. This was somebody who also was very comfortable in his masculinity, very comfortable in his sexuality. So, he was able to go places emotionally that maybe even the typical straight man might not even be able to go, simply because of his comfortability in his masculinity and his heterosexuality. And he didn't treat me any different just because I was gay. And we were able to experience a full friendship as a result of both of us knowing who the fuck we are, and both of us truly loving each other. And that was a pure threat for her.
Well, you have some people out there that just are like that,
Yeah.
unfortunately. Like they think
And
like
and she
anytime they
and she fucked up her blessing in letting that come in between their relationship, and then she fucked up inheriting a good Judy like me, who was totally supportive of her and supportive of him and supportive of them growing their entire family, and was supportive financially, emotionally, etc. And she destroyed her blessing by allowing her ignorance and her insecurities to take rulership over her. It's unfortunate. But let me get
yeah.
a Lux in here too, because she say she's gonna be quick. Hey Lux, are you ready? And I think you on mute.
Hello?
Hey, I can hear you. Hey Lux.
Hi, I'm going to make this really quick. Thank you
Okay.
so much, Conscious, for having me on your platform.
No
It is
problem.
a blessing. Um, I can only really speak to the Black community when I say this as a Black non-binary person myself. I'm going to be blunt. Fuck these hoes, man. Because it's always Black people. It will always be Black people that will be the first to perpetuate violence against us. Meanwhile, when a white man comes coming around the mountain, you're going to be in the same boat I'm in, maybe even worse.
Yeah.
It is so frustrating to see that just because the white man did it to you, now you're going to do it to me. Like, you even have the power to do it. You damn sure have the audacity, but the power, that's crazy. That's sick.
Yeah. It's the hypocrisy
And
of democracy.
we could be so much more powerful. We could be so much more greater if we just let it go, because it is the white man's ideology that is truly holding us down. Because as you said earlier, it's not affecting them, but it is tearing us apart, and we are losing precious people because of this.
Yeah. 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 And this is hardly the time to be divided, goddamn it. But I have also accepted that the only way for us to be united is we got to confront all of our demons. We got to confront our demons amongst each other. So I think there is a redeeming quality in us doing this work, and us all coming to the table to take responsibility for the way for the role we've played, and the bullshit of it all, not really knowing what it was costing us initially. So I like these type of conversations, whether it's facilitating conversations where Black women can speak about their experience of Black men, of patriarchy, etc., where queer people can talk about their experience of queer phobia, because the reason why we can't once again band together is because we're not actually tackling the issues that are driving a wedge between our community and amongst our community. So if we would really do the work and be willing to, approach these type of conversations with a transparency and an honesty and a willingness to do better and to understand rather than to be defensive, I think that we will naturally start seeing more progression amongst our community who, like you said, we're all ultimately in this boat together. This division has been is effective for the white dominant class, because as a result of this division, they're able, baby, to lead the charge and to run the world and to control the matrix and to seal off all the goddamn doors, while we're busy all arguing over divestment and arguing over whether trans women think they're better than biological women, or rather gay men should be able to wear lipstick and weave, and why they like, it's so dumb and remedial and just stupid when our actual resources are being overhauled and the foundation of our lives are actually being stripped and rearranged from right under our goddamn feet. But like all broken homes, even if there's a substantive reason for us all to come together, it's still going to be all those in-house issues that's going to keep that from actually taking place, no matter what the external threat is. So we got to clear all the stuff up. We got to master in having these conversations, and we got to create effective change in our community for our community to come together. We're going to have to do it.
Right. And it's so hard teaching and trying to explain things to people because they never want to hear it, because it does not affect them, because they don't have to live this experience. They want to play Beyonce to the shit when no, because when shit hits the fan, you're going to come running to me for my help.
Yeah.
But you ignored my pain. You didn't want to lick my wounds. You didn't want to wipe away my tears. So why should I do that for you?
Yeah.
You're sinking the boat that we both got to be in. And you expect me to patch it up when I didn't even put the hole in it. That's not fair.
Yeah. Right. Yep. Facts.
And so it's truly disheartening listening to Black queer people talk about how they've been abandoned, how they've been ridiculed, shamed, attacked, assaulted, so on and so forth, because ultimately and historically, we have been the ones at the forefront of almost every movement. You need us just as much as we need you. We need you for community. We need you for help. I'm looking to you for guidance and help because ultimately, and honestly, I grew up Christian. I grew up in the church. And I feel like the scariest day of my life was realizing that I was not cis, I wasn't straight, and having to go to church the next day because I knew everything they were going to say. I knew how they were just randomly going to go off into a homophobic rant. And it mortified me because if they knew what I was, I'd be an occurred.
Yeah.
I'd be a statistic. So ultimately, because I did say I was going to make this quick, we as Black people have so much more work to do because we always have the same 4 or 5 conversations that ultimately never really lead to anything and just have us looking like tap dancing chickens in front of the white man. It is embarrassing. We are never going to get anything done unless we come together and realize that whether you or your mama sits in the front passenger seat next to you does not fucking matter. It doesn't matter. And why should I care if a gay man is wearing a wig or some lip gloss? Just don't look crazy. Make sure you cut that shit on.
Put that shit on if you're going to put it on.
Exactly. And I've never had to worry about that from any gay man in my life because with all due respect, you can't be in the closet and not know how to dress. Something is going to have to give.
You can't even be in the closet without having a motherfucking dress, okay?
Exactly. You have to put it on. Put it on. Because when I need you, because my wig and my lace front is a little tilted to the side, you better know how to fix it.
Period.
But anyways, thank you so much for having me up.
Thank you so much, bro. That was
truly an honor to talk to you. I love you guys so much. Thank you. Have a blessed day.
All right, baby. And that was our looks, y'all. Oh, yeah, I gotta start using that, baby. You can't even be in the closet without having a motherfucking dress. I want to welcome Lee Williams to the platform. Hey, Lee.
How you doing?
I am awesome. How are you?
Oh, I'm just having a great and groovy day.
Period.
So, well, first of all, you know what? I gotta give props to you, Conscious, because you know one thing about you, baby, you're gonna keep the girls. You're gonna keep the girls in the on the yard. Okay, you're gonna keep us engaged. You're gonna keep us, stretching our minds, stretching our
Mm-hmm.
perspectives. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
and I just like that you are fair and balanced, honey. You keeps it real. I love that
Thank you,
about you.
baby. Thank you,
So
baby.
I just wanted to bring myself up to the. I guess
Mm,
I guess put myself on the whipping post. Because I did have to admit that,
yeah.
yes, I do have a gay bestie who I love more than anything in this world. I literally have like slept in this man's hospital room
Mm,
and jumped up because he was saying the doctor was mistreating him and
yeah.
nobody wanted to believe him. So when I was asleep, I wasn't all the way asleep. So when a bitch popped off and tried to say, oh, he didn't need this and that, guess who was ready? Okay.
Yeah.
And I came over there with them the Chick-fil-A food and his little Caesar's pizza, because they was not going to try to starve my friend with that bad hospital food. Okay.
Yeah.
So but so one thing I want to be sure, and I want you to know that this gay person in my life is not a prop. Okay. if anything, I'm a prop for him, girl. So
Mm,
check this out. Check this out.
yes.
I had to admit, and I have to admit, as I'm learning more about myself and actually becoming more aware and self-aware, I do have inherent biases
Yeah.
that I've been indoctrinated against, and I guess it comes out in ways that I'm not always fully cognizant. But then when I'm presented with it, I have to say, yes, I've been guilty of that same hypocrisy. Like, for example, I want my man and my gay friend to coexist as long as I'm in the conversation.
Long as I get the hover, baby. Long as
Long as I'm in the
my eyeballs get to look
conversation.
and lurk.
But what you not gonna do
That part.
is have me out of the conversation, okay? And-
It's always gotta be a group experience,
you
baby.
know what I'm saying?
Period.
But it's not, but it's also okay. All right.
Mm-hmm.
My gay bestie is messy, okay? And he is
Mm-hmm.
about that trade life, okay?
Oh Lord.
So it does conflate the issue, okay?
Yes.
But but me and my friend, we really are friends. And let me tell you, we have a very toxic relationship. So
Mm-hmm.
when we stop speaking, because he goes on block quite frequently, okay?
Just screaming.
And when he goes on block, girl, I'm
Mhm.
on the phone with his mother and sister and brother, because we have a support group
Yeah.
for when he gets mad at us.
I love this for y'all. I love this for y'all. Mhm.
We have a support group.
Yeah.
Okay. His mother knows that I love her son
Yes.
so much. And because like when I went to the hospital, I told his brother, you can go ahead and go, because I got
Mm.
this. He was
Sis
like,
got
no,
this.
my mom
Mhm.
told me I had to stay here too. I said, well, girl, you could go. Okay, because we'll need your help.
Yeah.
I'm here now.
Hmm.
But we let him sleep in the room. We ain't put him out. But anyway, I just have to say that Dr. Heavenly, now I have to be honest. I have actually approached Dr. Heavenly about being a mentor. Of course, she paid me dust. Okay. So I do have a respect for Dr. Heavenly, and I'm
Yeah.
not going to pretend that I don't, because I wouldn't want to try to work for her. But I also tried to work for Trasha K, and we both know that I would never work for Trasha K in this lifetime.
Hmm.
Okay.
Hmm.
But that's before we knew who she really was. Okay. She's trash. So anyway, so Dr. Heavenly, she needs to get on the MFing line and just give her Dr. Jackie moment. But we need to know it's sincere, because this girl has actually cursed in a church. Like, I have watched all of the Married to Message episode. She has cursed in a church. She's now Dr. Heavenly is an example of someone with unresolved trauma.
Yeah,
She has
definitely.
a
Sure too.
what you can tell she got it with her mom, and
Yeah.
that's probably what's
Mhm.
happening with
Yeah.
Funky, where I don't feel Funky is being honestly truthful in his response to this, because I feel like this. If you're really my friend, I'm going to protect you in public. I'm going to die on the vine for you in public. But when we get to that back room, I am going to check
Yeah.
you.
Right.
Okay. I may not check you right off
Right.
because I honestly is all about
Yeah.
when
You're
you
gonna be on
say,
code. You're gonna be
yeah,
on
you know
code.
what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I think Funky is going to have a conversation with her because it was way too she was way too comfortable with saying not like them kind of men, no,
Right.
the real men.
Right.
That's something
And not
embedded,
soft men or bitch men, but real men.
right?
Yeah. Ooh.
That's
Mm.
embedded. That's patriarchal. That's inherent bias. She is complicit. And I know she gives opportunities to gay men. So I believe that Dr. Heavenly has learned how to use gay men as a prop.
Yes.
Because I saw her interacting with T.S. Madison. And so I'm like, okay, if you're going to be in these spaces, I gotta know that you're a genuine friend. And that's where my conviction comes from. Because when I when you point the finger at other people, 4 of those fingers are going back to you. And so as I explore these conversations and situations like that, I say, where am I guilty? And I search myself and I had to say, I have been guilty of saying, oh, I don't want my nephew to be gay. Or I don't want I don't want my nephew to be gay, or you know what I'm saying? But I'm like, but why are we doing that? Because what's happening is we're separating ourselves. And the more I spent the last 2018 to 2000 to present day being a good friend of my gay bestie. So the more I'm with them, I see we have a lot of similarities. And that's why I said a lot of times what we need to realize, we have more similarities than differences. And we really have to build on that. But we also have to love each other's differences. We have to love each other. And that's what I say to myself. Yes, I can point the finger at Dr. Heavenly, but what have I been guilty of? And so I can't sit here and be like, oh, let's burn her at the stake and not be real with myself. And all I can say is I'm sorry that I said, oh, I don't want my nephew to be gay, because at the end of the day, gay men, first of all, you need to know something about me, Conscious. I'm the turn up queen, honey.
I can tell, baby. It's all in your energy, baby. You ain't got to convince me, honey. I know you is. Yes, God.
I have turned out a few gay parties, okay? A few, okay? Where I didn't know the code. They invited me to this gay party, right?
Yeah.
And everybody came, right? But I didn't know the code was just to show and make an appearance and then leave, okay? I was in Midtown Atlanta, okay? And I went to the party. Okay, it was at the 12. You know where past the yeah. You know what I'm talking about. So anyway, okay, but I didn't know they was only fake friends, and I'm not really good at being fake. So when they invited me, it was a genuine. I'm over there, shopping for the thing and everything, buying groceries and stuff. And so once I had my first drink, I'm not going nowhere. I'm in downtown Atlanta. So they all leaving because they all know to just make an appearance and leave. But I started drinking. So next thing you know, they playing creep and everything. And I'm just I'm just turning the whole party up. And so they got videos of me with a cowboy hat on my tail, because I do I used to do the wall dance when I was younger. I used to do the wall dance, you know what I'm saying? So the reality is I'm very, very, very comfortable in gay spaces. And I think for me, I'm from Philly originally, and I would get around gay men and they would keep saying, my wife, my wife, my wife. And I'm like, you're not talking about no wife. And they was like, don't be out here telling my business. I'm like, well, based on how you saying it, I don't think you're talking about a woman. And they said, because on the job, we can't really say. And I was like, oh, okay. So I didn't know about the code switching. I didn't know the fake love.
Yeah.
But I also had to be honest that sometimes I was showing fake love. For example,
Mm.
I don't want my gay bestie on the phone with my with my boyfriend, okay, without me present.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. They do be on the phone without me present. And I made peace with that.
Yeah.
I made peace with it. My gay bestie sends photo. Okay, my gay bestie loves to take pictures. He will send him a whole photo spread to his phone. And at first, I was feeling a certain kind of way because I was like, hold up. Okay. I was feeling all, because like I said, I was not part of the conversation.
Yeah.
So I had a problem with that. But then I said, you know what? Maybe this encouraged my friend to dress better. Because, sometimes when we go out.
You know what? Well, not you making lemons with the lemonade. Are you making the lemonade with the lemons?
Yeah, because see, my friend, he's like you, honey. You gonna shut it down. It ain't gonna be. It's rarely a time anybody's gonna be dressed better than you. Okay, I know you know this concept, and he is the same way. Okay, he look. He was always the the debutante balls. He was always best dressed, everything. In his high school, college, everything. So he's always gonna shut it down. Okay. So I'm like, you know what? Maybe he can encourage him. And not only that, let's be real. A lot of gay men, you guys are very plugged in. Like, y'all know the real. And we need to know the real. Like, y'all know what's really tea. Okay. And the thing is, we have been lied to. About everything. Okay. And I honestly, I don't want to be around a bunch of people telling me convenient lies no more. So I'm just looking for the real. And like I said, I love him to death. And one day I'm gonna bring him on this platform because
bring him on.
Let me tell you, he is life. He is life, honey. Okay.
Yes, I live for that.
And he got me, and he was the one got me watching Married with Medicine. So, which is funny because when I would call him when he'd be watching Married to Medicine, he'd be like, "How dare you call me while I'm watching Married to Medicine?" And now that I have watched all 12-year episodes, I understand. Don't you call me while I'm watching Married to Medicine. But
those my story hours.
That's my story. But Funky, I'm watching Funky. I've watched Funky enough. Honestly, he might be. I did not watch this program, so I'm gonna go back and watch it.
Yeah.
But the way he's moving, he's mimicking, he's saying things, but I don't feel like he feels it in his spirit. So I think he's doing a united front thing, and he's gonna call Dr. Heavily on the carpet. But he might have something significant to lose, so he has to, maybe bring it up delicately. But
sure.
I want to bring up to everybody, and I want everybody to do some self-reflection and also some get on the self-awareness train and just really realize in the space, like we should hold ourselves like we always have an open mic.
Yeah.
If we can't feel comfortable saying what we say about gay men in front of their face, what we say with our friend group behind their back, then we need to check ourselves and we need to ask ourselves why. And that is all about, to me, competition. But why do we feel that gay men are a competition? Look, there's room for everybody at the table. We should not gatekeep. We should love everybody just as God loves us. God created each and every one of us, and he did not play favorites. He loves us all unconditionally. And that's what we need to realize that we need to realize that. Another thing I want to say, and I hate to, name drag, especially when I don't actually know these people specifically. But Tamar, I was listening to her podcast, Under Construction podcast, and she was saying on one of her podcasts, why do people feel comfortable saying negative things about certain groups in front of you or certain people in front of you. You know, you got to watch that. Why do people feel comfortable saying something negative in front of you?
Yeah.
Do they feel that you're really not a genuine friend to this person? You know, and so they feel like they want to test you, or they feel they feel comfortable telling you something derogatory about somebody you claim is your good friend. And so you got to think about that. But really, we have to challenge ourselves in that space, in that moment. If they are saying something about somebody we know to be friends, now we may not always be able to. I mean, if we had a barbershop, y'all know that toxic masculine energy at the barbershop. You can't take on no whole barbershop.
Right.
Okay. And you know it's inherently toxic.
Yeah.
That environment is toxic.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you can't take all that on, you know.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you are in a small group, you have to speak up for your friend. You have to find a way, even if you're gonna lose that friend.
Yeah.
If that person is really your friend,
right,
you gotta hold them accountable. That's why I am a friend. I am a fan, but I'm never a stan, because a stan will let you do and run unchecked. I believe all of us can be checked. I believe all of us should be held accountable.
Talk about it.
And I believe that nobody is above. We should all be above reproach, but we are not above criticism and self-reflection. We all should hold ourselves up to the same standards we hold other people up to. And that's funny how we do that, though. We say, "Oh, Dr. Heavenly, don't say this. You said this." But then we'll go in our own private spaces offline and say the same shit she'll say, right? But we won't hold ourselves accountable. And that's the thing. Look, I have just reached my feminine era. Okay, I had learned that I'm deeply masculine, and I'm a straight woman. I'm a straight female. But I realized I have been stuck in survival mode for quite some time. I'm actually still in survival mode. But then I realized, but I haven't always been in survival mode.
Yeah.
but I've always been masculine. And I'm like, wow, why'd y'all do this to me? Okay. Y'all set me up. So I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to be more self-aware, and I'm trying to do, you know, I really feel like I'm like Michelle Obama. I'm becoming the person that I want to be. I can't wait to meet the healed version of myself. I can't wait, you know.
It's exciting.
And I think we should be careful when we say things like Funky Dineva needs therapy, because from what I understand, he's getting therapy. But because I've actually been to therapy for 2.5 years, okay, I'm not in therapy right now because I got put out because the therapist fired me. She told me I was too much. Okay. And they even sent me a cease and desist letter. So they said that they did not have what I needed. Okay. So you know, and and we'll just say the name of the company is on the person who owns the company has a daughter that used to be on the Real Housewives of Potomac in Atlanta, Georgia. Okay. And we all know who we're talking about. So, you know, but I'm going to say, when I was going to therapy, the therapist will talk about anything you want to talk about. So if you want to get in that therapist session and waste, because I was paying $75 an hour. If you want to get in there and waste your $75 talking about puppies and kittens, they're going to talk to you about puppies and kittens.
You better go in and get your money's worth, child.
Right. So just because you're going to therapists,
they ask to work,
don't mean you're doing the work.
Exactly. Yes, God.
And so he might be going to therapists.
Yeah,
but he might be playing games in there.
And that's a good point. You know, it's based upon what he's presenting to the therapist.
Right.
You know, so yeah,
Right.
a lot to do with it. But that's why I was saying earlier, you know, he needs to look at some of the criticism that does come up against him sometime and just kind of take the meat and be willing to maybe explore that. Like, you know what? It ain't gonna hurt me and kill me. Maybe, you know, try to unpack this stuff and, you know, see, you know, where it all is, how I
Right.
analyze and stuff,
Right.
all this inside of myself just to make sure good on my good.
Now
Um,
let me ask you something, Conscious, and I gotta ask you something. I'm about to hold your feet to the fire with
yes,
these two things I want to say.
yes, yes.
Okay, and don't turn off my mic. Don't turn my mic
Oh,
off
I
because
never do.
I'm only coming in love.
You ain't
But
gotta worry about
honestly,
that.
Funky,
Mhm.
Conscious, I believe Funky is stealing your mannerisms and stuff. Do you feel that way? I mean,
Okay,
some of the things like get
yes.
them on the line, you know, some of your ad libs and stuff.
Yeah. Okay, so
When
here,
I met you
yes.
through what's her name? Claudia Jordan, right?
Okay,
She's
shout
the
out to
one that
Claudia.
right.
Yes.
She
The
got
one
me to
that
your
you.
platform. And
Mhm.
when I started watching you, I said, wait a minute, this is everything that Funky does. And
Uh-huh.
I said, wait a minute. I never heard you say anything
Mhm.
negative about Funky Dineva, but
Yeah,
I
yeah.
was like, do you ever feel like this man is stealing your style? Like, what's
Okay,
up?
so here is the gag to that, Lee.
Okay.
Uncle Dineva definitely knows. You know, he knows who I am. He and I run in similar circles. We've never had any direct interactions, but I do know that he has literally stolen entire talking points, almost verbatim.
Right,
I mean,
right,
almost a plate, an entire
right.
acre.
And
And but here's the thing, right? Because
uh-huh.
at the end of the day, that's not a problem. Because like unlike other influencers,
Hmm.
I actually think it's a compliment to actually have influence. So
Okay.
yeah, so you know, like that's just a
So you're the
that's a
blueprint.
salute.
You're the
Yeah, like
blueprint.
that's a salute to my you know capacity to actually influence. So you know, I need the girl still in lingo and talking points and hoverboard and giving conscious, and then in return and equally, all of these amazing commentators they
Yes, they
inspire
are.
me equally. You know, so
Right,
it's
right.
things I pick up from them. It's lingo. Like when I be like what's the thing he always does, and I don't start doing it too. It's you know, like when I be like, get up in this damn saying, like, you know, like
Yeah, and this damn
yeah,
sanctuary.
like
Yeah.
you know, like how I exaggerate like the word
Yeah.
comes from, you know. So it's like
Right.
you know, like we all do our fair share of trading out things and picking up on things that like, oh, I
Yeah.
like that, or you know, like that's a whole key. So I don't have a problem with it because it worked both ways.
Well, I want you to know, I don't know who you are, Dr. Conscious, but you are so wise
Thank you.
beyond your years. I don't even know how you got this much. I just don't. I think
I live. I
I'm just
live.
blessed to be in your presence,
Oh, thank you,
honestly.
baby.
And I sit there and listen to you, and I'm just like, damn, he prosecuted this whole case. Like he you don't
Baby,
lie
in the
about
court, honey.
crime.
Yeah.
You don't leave no crumbs on the table.
Yeah.
If you were in the DA's office, y'all, well, no, you would be in the FBI because they have like a 98% conviction rate. The
But you know,
DA,
Ali, a lot of that is for y'all. It's me holding myself to a certain standard as a person who has a platform, and me wanting to give you guys a great show, give you guys as much of a comprehensible, thorough breakdown as possible. All of that just comes from me perfecting my craft and not wanting to waste y'all time. And if y'all are going to take the time to be here, take the time to like, comment, subscribe, support the platform, then I feel like the least I can do is definitely like continue to master myself as a commentator,
uh-huh.
master holding a show together, and just being, you know, like well and competent as a commentator. So y'all be inspiring kind of the perfectionism in me and me just always wanting to grow and be better and be better and be better as a commentator. So, you know, I appreciate having y'all in my life and y'all being an audience for me because it holds me accountable. It makes me raise the bar higher and higher and higher for myself. And so it's a very sentient, symbiotic relationship between us all. So, you know, it works both ways. So, you know,
when you are doing the damn
I want to be
thing,
great to y'all.
you are doing the damn thing. Let me tell you, I've always wanted to be a lawyer. I was a reporter for like a print news reporter for 10 years in little small market newspapers, honey. And so I used to bring the tea. Okay. You know, I don't know if you ever saw the part in the newspaper where you would find out who got arrested that week or that day. Yep, that was me.
Yep.
I would put everybody's name in the paper,
Mm-hmm.
all the child molesters, I would publish the whole list of people on the sex offender registry, honey. I would bring the girls to the yard. Okay. And
Mm-hmm.
so I did that for 10 years, but you know what? It wasn't paying me no money. I couldn't make no money. So, you know, right now I'm in between blessings right now. I'm not working right now. I haven't been working in a year and a half. I call it my white woman era. Okay. I'm in my white woman era.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. A little delulu.
Mm-hmm.
Now I love white women to death, okay, but you gotta admit they can be a little delusional at times, and so I'm in that era, and
Mm-hmm.
but I had to take this time because I had become so mentally strained that I just could not deal. And honestly, I didn't want to be like those people driving into a parade down in New Orleans and
Don't
stuff.
lose
So
your shit. Don't lose your shit.
right. So I had to focus on me. But I will say that we need to watch when we say people are not going to therapy, because unfortunately I think he is. I just don't think he's getting his money's worth. And he needs to be. Sometimes you can't always listen to all the people in the amen corner. You have to listen to the constructive criticism. And I think
your critics.
when he says he never watches himself or he never reads the comments, that's the issue. That's why he's not getting better. And in this video, his mannerisms do not ring true to what he's saying. He's talking in a puppeteer.
He actually talked out of both sides of his neck. On one hand, he said, I'm accustomed, I'm adapted. This is just another day in the office. I'm used to homophobia. I'm used to accommodating homophobia from heterosexual people, and I'm still going to be Heavenly's friend. That's what she always do. I've checked her before, but she, continues to do what she do. But then he opened up the show on the contrary with, this been bothering me. It's been bothering me. So I'm gonna go ahead and speak on it. So I'm just like, but which one is it, Funky? And Funky does do a lot of that. He does do a lot of talking out of both sides of his neck. So I'm just like, well, are you adapted? And this is just another day in the office and there ain't nothing to see here. Or are you bothered? Because it seems like you're bothered, obviously. Like, you're actually really bothered. And it's okay to acknowledge that. But I think with Funky, like a lot of queer people and all minority folk can relate to this, whether it's Black folk, women folk, where sometimes really you want to be unbothered because you know that it is just another day in the office and it's the same old bullshit. And sometimes you just get sick of actually having a response and having a emotional response.
Right.
The reality is you are bothered, even if it's, the same shit from yesterday, because, shit on any day don't smell no better. Shit
right.
So, I think it was a part of his defense mechanism, and then the reality that this is exhausting. I am disappointed. This is very annoying. It is very fucking insulting. And I do love her, and I'm going to continue to love her. And I want to be numb to this, but I'm not really as numb as I would prefer to be. It's ridiculous. Yeah. So
okay. Well, if he's going to be a carbon copy of you, he needs to take a page from your own book. Because did you or did you not hold Larry Reed accountable about that Dwayne Youngblood thing? You can't be a friend to somebody and not tell them the truth. That's how you know a real friend, because they tell you the truth.
I've actually held Larry accountable for almost everything. But I'm actually a lot like you. It's like, okay, if we have a relationship and we love each other, I'm gonna be on code. Like, I'm not gonna do you in front of everybody.
Right.
But we get home, baby. It's gonna be up. motherfucker. Believe
I'm
me.
gonna run you some bath water first. Get you
Yes.
nice and
You know.
comfortable.
Yes. So I totally get that type of I get that type of dynamic, But yeah,
take you out, show you a good time, and then I'm gonna let your ass know. Okay.
oh yes, baby. Larry done told y'all, baby, how we done had breakdown in our friendship. We done gone months without speaking. He done hung up in my face. Like, baby, it's real, baby. It goes down behind the
But
curtain.
guess what? Guess what? When he wants to know the truth, he knows who to call.
Right.
And that's at the end of the day, we don't need a bunch of yes people in our lives. We don't grow from that. We do not grow from that. And as much as I like people to be in my amen corner, trust me, you think this last year and a half of me not working? Wow. Okay. I done learned some things about myself, okay, that I never knew existed. But what I do know is that in this time, I needed to look at myself. I was so busy doing for everybody else, but I wouldn't even walk across the street to put myself out if I was on fire. I was doing everything. You know what I'm saying? And I had to look at myself and say, why? What's my belief system? What is my priority system is all messed up. But I just wish that Funky would just say, you know what?
And he'll get there. I think if his supporters continue and the people closest to him in his life continue to lovingly egg that on, I think that he'll probably get there. I think he still has time to evolve, even though he's the old lady under the tree. But he got time to get it together, and the public will definitely continue to hold him accountable. I think that Lee done got kicked up out of here. But shout out to Lee, honey. I love that energy. Lee is so full of life, and shout out to the work that she is doing. And wow, like the positivity. I live for all of that. Sunny, welcome to the platform.
Hello.
Hey.
I just wanted to comment on a little bit opposite side of what Lee was saying about accountability. And I really want to talk to the accountability of the community, of the gay community. I need fam to really start being realistic, because something she said stuck out to me, talking about, Heavenly gives opportunities, to so many gay men. But here's what I think we downplay ourselves and the roles that we play in entertainment, especially, is all the opportunities that Heavenly receives because of the gay men in her life. And and not just Heavenly, in general, especially in reality TV.
Yeah.
If you know anything about it, I know you do, but people listening, and if y'all know about how this works, there is a plethora of gay people, gay men especially, behind the scenes. And I don't just mean getting them ready, doing hairdos, being stylists. No. I mean in the background of giving them tea about each other, teaching them different things to say, how to read, how to be better in their one-on-ones when they're doing their, how they do I forgot what it's called when you do little, when they're reviewing, like when they're doing their little side notes on the show. The women have their little one-on-one session where they're saying what they thought about a scene. Like all of that is happening in the background from someone that's close to them. And the reason I feel like it's important for the gay community to really be honest about what is being contributed is because I feel like people like Funky fall into that cycle of being upset about it, maybe even feeling hurt by it, but always being afraid to, or leaning in the direction of wanting to maintain a relationship over doing what is right, of having a real relationship. Like you said, if we're really friends, we should be able to have all conversations. We may need a minute afterwards to cool off and digest what just happened, but there shouldn't be anything that we can't discuss if we're truly friends.
Yeah.
And I feel like too often, at least I see it entirely too often, that this dynamic is happening of some level of animosity or biases that women especially are holding against the gay men in their lives, and it only comes out in moments of anger, whether it's anger towards the gay men or anger about something that has nothing to do with him, but yet he's being dragged into it, like the comments that she made. Like it bothers me that the onus is always on the gay person to be like, hey, you can't say stuff like that. Like, we're past that point now. We know we shouldn't be saying stuff like that. Where do we get to the point of being like, why are you saying that? And where is your self-reflection of why am I still nurturing this relationship if I know every time this person is upset about something?
Like Funky said, because in his reality, there's going to be nobody left. If he walked around with the attitude that, you're going to have to give me my worth. And because most people are not in the business of giving other people their worth, people are giving, whatever they got left of themselves to each other, whether that's happening platonically, relatives, or whether it's happening socially. People are accommodating the mediocrity ultimately because most people are mediocre. There's only a minority amongst the population that are whole and who are equally reciprocating in their relationships of all kinds. Like, that's a rare breed. And I'm experiencing that now in my life because as a result of, nobody told me that as a result of demanding my worth that I would end up with 1.5 friends.
Okay.
Nobody told me that.
So me either. So I found strength in the isolation.
Over the last few months of last year, I actually had a moment where I was just like, God damn, like, this is so odd because everything I've done and created for myself, I did this for all those people. I made sure that I lived in a way to where my cup would overflow because I wanted to give my community the overflow. The overflow was for them. And now I'm sitting here in the highest prosperity I've ever had going on in my life. And the community I did this for don't even exist anymore. Because all those people are fucking trash, relatively speaking, to my standards. Relatively speaking to the concept of reciprocation. And I felt the way about that for months. It really aggravated me because I'm like, I would not have done all this. I would not have created what I've created just for me alone, because me alone, I'm a very modest person. I'm really a Buddhist at heart. I can live off very little. I can exist on, very simple things. I don't need the bells and the whistles and the hoopla, and I don't need to overflow because a lot of what I'm seeking in life are the things that money can't buy. So I would have never even strove this hard, in my life to overflow and to have resources to extend to my community if it wasn't for the community. And the fact that I am sitting here in my biggest overflow and I'm at the top of the pyramid by my fucking self, that was a very odd experience. And nobody ever told me that self-love and standing up for your worth could caveat to being alone in the world, not being lonely, but being alone in the world. That's an interesting thing. So I think with Funky Dineva, right? Because for me, right, where I am is I'm also cool, like, with that, because I'm not gonna settle. Like, I'm not gonna settle. So I'm cool with just doing me. If it gotta just be me sitting from my balcony in my Versace robes and getting my vitamin D because I'm sitting closer to the sun these days, then if I gotta enjoy that sight and enjoy that view and enjoy that range and enjoy that privilege by myself, then so be it. But realistically speaking, I know, Sonny, that not a lot of people can deal with that. And Funky Dineva, I think, has admitted, I can't deal with that. I'm not that invested in my social politics that I'm willing to be alone just because nobody else can rise to the occasion. So I'm going to accommodate the people that I love. I'm going to make space for, some of their bullshit and their imperfections. And the reality is, Funky represents the majority of human beings who are making space, because the idea, right, is that nobody's perfect. Well, if nobody's perfect, then what do we do with that? If the truth is nobody's also not perfect.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I understand what you're saying about yourself and about Funky, and I'm with you on that. I definitely was in shock of how much around me was lost, how many people around me were lost. And like you said, that juxtaposition of being like, I did this for us, and there is no us anymore.
Yeah.
It is a wild feeling, and like you said, it's not lonely, but you are definitely alone.
Right.
But and maybe it's just me and my mind. I know that nobody's perfect, including me, but I was able to make peace with the idea that who I did it for, why, my reason for so long no longer existed. I made peace with that. One, like you said, because I definitely am a person that's a minimalist. I thrive in that. I I feel freer with less, and I don't mean that in a
Yeah.
in a
Mhm.
scarcity way.
Right.
I just really genuinely mean
Yeah.
I feel more free. I feel fuller
Yeah.
when there is not so much what things I consider unnecessary, excess,
Absolutely.
right?
Mhm.
But looking around, I was like, I had to one make peace with, okay, they were fine with losing out on this.
Yeah.
They'd rather be where they are, still in the same place they were when I left, and instead of having to, like you said, rise to the occasion and be able to receive the overflow that was designed especially for them.
Mhm.
So okay, if they're cool with it, I'm cool with it too. But I also feel like it's not like there's nobody that can rise to that occasion. It's
Right.
just that where I was in that time and space, they were not meant to rise to that occasion with me.
Yeah. Or they
You know,
chose. Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
So, and you're right. Maybe that's what Funky is not capable of doing or desiring to do, is wait it out.
Because one of the things that doesn't get prioritized as a teaching point and a survival point is the art of mastering your own company, being in your
Yeah,
own company. This is the
true.
part that's still a very weak point in the whole growth concept conversation. And because we also biologically are wired to be communal as a species, like other mammals, we also have a biological factor that is kind of disrupting or complicating our ability to sit alone. So we're
Yeah.
also kind of fighting against an aspect of our physiological makeup as well. That is like, no, you need people, go be with people, because you have a reproductive system that's also encouraging you to connect. You have,
Mhm.
that biological wiring that's encouraging you to go socialize, because we are literally hardwired to socialize. That's why we like societies, we like neighborhoods, we like, working on jobs where we get to, deal with other people, and we're not tucked to the back of the warehouse by ourselves, folding boxes. We gravitate naturally toward the social. But when there come times where, one deem it necessary, because it's like, yeah, I'm social and I want community like everybody else, but at the same time, I can't put up with raggediness. I can't put up with no bullshit.
No.
I can't put up with people harming me. I can't put up with not being safe amongst people. I can't put up with that. Then there comes that fork in the road where it's like, okay, if I choose to protect myself because nobody else can protect me and is going to protect me, that may cost me my social life, maybe temporarily, to your point. But there's also this other reality, because good people and truly loving, mature people and emotionally aware and reciprocal people are a minority. The reality is this may not be a short period. this may be what it is for the rest of my life if I'm willing to uphold my progress, and I'm willing to uphold my wholeness, and I'm willing to hold other people accountable for what they can and can't do to me. Is that this aloneness may be the finale. This may
Right.
be what it is. And I don't think
He
a
can
lot
rest in that.
have them. Yeah, I don't think a lot of people have it in them to deal with something like that. And a lot of people can't accept that. And a lot of people don't trust themselves enough to be able to be fine and to be okay, and to know that they will be okay, and you can be okay. And being alone doesn't take away from your happiness. It doesn't take away from anything, because everything that you're really seeking in other people are actually already in you. And that's the whole point of the becoming of yourself, and the becoming of your authentic person, is that the more you actually continue, to your point, to go down that road, even if you never get that reflected from other people, you get it from you. From you realize all the infinity stones were in you to begin with. Yes,
Okay.
is a external representation and personification of those infinity stones, but those infinity stones are mirroring back something that actually is you collectively. And the self-work and the self-discovery puts you on the trajectory to discover that truth, that empowering, self-liberating truth that brings yourself full circle with you. So if people could endure the valley of the shadow of death, the death of your material needs, the death of your fear of loneliness, the death of your unhealthy codependencies, the death of your trauma, the death of your heartache, the death of your worry, the death of your compliance with the system. If people would trust themselves to go down at and to come face to face with the boogeymans in the closet, under their bed, they would then eventually come to know what we all know who are on this path and have made it to the other side, which is that there is a land of milk and honey that overflows in
On the other side of it.
that overflows in the soul, that
Yes.
overflows in consciousness and in spirit, that well that Christ was talking and instructing and explaining to the woman who had been down her fifth attempt trying to get her needs met through a man. That's what Christ was talking about, this infinite stream of well-being that's always and forever available to each and every last single one of us. Let me point you to that, lady. Let me teach you that, lady. Let me teach you that that which you seek to be complete is already you. You just don't
There you
know
go.
of the brokenness of the system and society and erroneous religious beliefs, etc. And so it is a beautiful unfolding. And, and my heart goes out to the funkies because, I know it's a hard road, and I know it's scary once you get to that point where it's like, well, damn. Like, why I can't have y'all and me?
There you go.
Why I can't have us, and then you weigh it out and you're like, I'm just going to weigh us. I'm going to choose us rather than choosing me. But then the price of that comes with having to come back and revisit the scene of the crime over and over again. Y'all, I can't sleep. I'm bothered by this. I couldn't let this go. That's the price you pay for betraying yourself. That's the cost of betrayal. And here's the interesting thing about when you're willing to betray yourself just because you don't have the strength to be alone. Not lonely, but you don't have the strength to be alone, is you now also have a spiritual law called the law of attraction that's going to reflect back to you what you're willing to do to yourself. So you now are going to stay in a perpetual state of attracting Judases in your life because they're only doing to you what you've told the universe is fine to happen to you because you do it to you. You do it to you. You don't stand on you. You betray you. You sell you out in order to hold on to the shallow. So I'm going to attract to you that externally and have it reflected back to you again and again and again, because that's what you are vibrating. That's what you are saying yes to. And I always tell people, what do y'all think the posture of the Almighty is when we pray, or when we hold a emotional attitude about something, or when we hold a mental view of something? What do you think God is doing? People think God have all this to say about everything going on. God has one response and one response only to everything you feel, everything you think is, everything you can conceive of, and that is yes.
Yes.
And
Okay.
yes.
Come on.
And if you are unworthy, God says yes and amen, and then your life becomes a perpetual illustration and demonstration of your lack of worth amongst yourself and your peers. If you are a degenerate and you are unlovable and you are not enough, God says yes and amen. And your life becomes a reflection of just that, which is why so many people, you can't tell them that what they have lived ain't true. So for women, right, who have had a bad experience with one man, that became a bad experience of all men. A part of that also is about the perpetual conversation and what you tell yourself every time you end up in that predicament. And then the law of attraction keeps slingshotting it back to you again and again and again. God says yes and amen, whatever your internal narrative is. All men ain't shit. Yes and amen. Let me bring you more men who ain't shit. All women ain't shit. Yes and amen. Let me bring you more of those ain't shit women.
Indeed. And God warned you of that. Power is in the tongue.
Is in life and death is in the power. Yes.
Come
on. Over and over and over again. Like, we don't understand the benefit.
And that means in all ways, it's not in destruction. It is in your abundance as well. Speak what it is you want to call in.
And then here is the thing, Sonny. The shallows of religion literally make that about words. No, it's not about words. This is why.
That's right.
You can say whatever you want to say and still be experiencing the contrary.
Right. Do you exist in it?
It's not in the words. It's in your internal narrative, your internal, the way you construct and see things in your mind and in your emotions. This is why a lot of people, it don't matter how good what they say is. Oh, God gonna heal me. I am healed by Jesus' stripes and all of that. My mama said the same shit when she started suffering in her health, and her health continued to decline because regardless of what came out of her mouth as air and sound, it was contrary to the actual fear, the worryation, the anger, the disdainment, and the discomfort she was reliving emotionally and mentally in her reality. So until that conversation, the spiritual conversation, the conversation you hold in your emotional body and your mental body, regardless of what the fuck comes out of your actual mouth, until that is targeted, corrected, and arranged to fit what you want your external reality to reflect, and your external reality would never fucking reflect it. It'll never reflect it until inwardly you see things differently and you see them in the way you would have them to actually be, and then you posture yourself as a recipient for that which you are summoning forth, that which you are imagining forth, that which you are fantasizing forth, that which you are asserting mentally and emotionally forth. This is why the scriptures say a man is what he thinketh, your internal. So you got to not pay attention to the words you choose physically. You got to pay attention to the narratives you choose inwardly about your experience. What do you tell yourself every time some shit don't work out? That's what matters. What are you telling yourself every time you didn't get your needs met from your mom or from your dad, or every time you experience letdown or you experience betrayal? What is your feeling and your experience? That is the conversation that's shaping your life. That's the conversation that's painting and constructing your life. What are you telling yourself every time something bad happens? What are you telling yourself? what are you telling yourself? What are you really telling yourself? What does it feel like? And acknowledge.
And that's truly what I'm asking too. Go ahead, acknowledging it.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm saying what you're saying. That's truly what I'm asking about, not just Funky Dineva, but just in general for the community. Like, what is it that you are telling yourself? What are you reiterating? Not just in the tiny moments like that, but always. Like, I just wish, I guess it's because I wish that so bad for him, because I've seen him do it for so many years. And this narrative is not new.
Yeah.
It may be new to some people, but if you've watched Funky long enough, you know that this is not a new thing.
Right.
And I genuinely would wish that for him, but for everybody to get to that place of what is it that you are speaking over yourself, into yourself? What are you truly living, and what are you accepting? And I feel like this, it may seem small, but it truly is an acceptance. It is an acceptance, like you said, a choosing of them over you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there has to be a reckoning at some point. At least I hope there is a reckoning at some point. And don't get me wrong, you know better than anybody, this is not a journey for the weak. It is not an easy thing to do by any stretch. Like you said, it's a death over and over, a death of so many things, you know, within you and around you. But at some point, I feel like the thing that everybody is longing for in life right now, period. I don't just mean in this situation. You go online.
Has to be willing to believe
Come on.
in what you claim you deserve.
Come on.
At some point, you actually have to really believe that. And you have to actually reach for that. It's one thing to know it, but the true test comes, can you reach for it? You say you know your worth. Do you have the audacity to reach for it? Do you have the unmitigated gall? Do you have the heart? Do you have the courage to reach for it? You say it. You talk that shit. Now, the true test is going to be in your actions. Can you reach for that which you claim is your deserving and your entitlement and your worth? And that's where the walkers and the talkers
get divided.
Part ways.
Okay.
That's when, baby, they begin to part motherfucking ways. The walkers and the motherfucking talkers. Who got the kahunas to step on that shit? And who just gonna hold it up as a proclamation while never actually doing a goddamn thing about it and without actually choosing it, which is reflected in your boundaries. It's reflected in your ability and your capacity to let a motherfucking nigga go. To let a bitch go, to let a friendship go, to let it go, to let it go. And just like healing physically, when you missed your healing, of course, physically it may be hard to see the other side because you will miss the surgery.
Right.
And emotional healing, you don't get no, what they call it. You don't get no, it's when they put you under.
Anesthesia.
Yeah, you don't get no anesthesia. So you wide open for surgery. So you're gonna bear witness to all the ugly, insidious, aspects of,
please believe it.
Yeah, of that healing. And it can be hard to physically conceive of the end result. And that's when you, once again, this also when faith becomes activated. Like choosing in your mind's eye and in your philosophy, in your intellect, to remind yourself of where this destruction is leading you, which is to your becoming again. And there comes a point in your healing journey where no, you can't see where this is going. And it doesn't look like it's headed in that direction as you cling to your life rafter. However, that's when you have to rely on what you know, regardless of whether it is showing up in this very moment. Just like when you come out of surgery. You got to get up. You got to do your walks. You got to get your body moving again. That pain may be hard to conceive that it won't ever stop because your body is wrecked right now. You know, it may be hard to conceive, baby, that I'm going to feel better. This shit hurt. Every time I stand up, it hurt. Every time I get up, it hurt. Every time I move, it hurt. It hurt. I'm just in pain. But if you continue to cling to your life rafter, baby, and you remind that pain, you use your mind to remind your body that we ain't got nothing but a bit more distance to go. We're going to be all right. It's going to be complete. We're going to get through this. This is temporary. If you can hold on, if you can stay fast, then you can make it to that other side and thank yourself for it later.
Okay. Because you will be mad at yourself later if you don't. I promise you. Because the healing is going to happen regardless, but it will not be in wholeness if you do not take them steps. I promise you. You better get out of that bed. Do them exercises. Like you said, it's going to hurt.
Yeah.
But I promise you, if you choose the other route, them stitches will heal. Man, but you're going to be bent over.
Let me tell you, I'm sitting here with one and a half friends because my healing and my peace and what I've created as I continue to cling to my healing has been far more worth it than whatever I was getting out of impartial relationships to other people.
Okay.
And I have not also lost my love for the people that once was. I've just lost my relationship to them in exchange for a relationship to myself, which has become quantifiably more fulfilling as I continue to cling and hold on during the most uncomfortable parts of transmutation, the most uncomfortable parts of transcending, the most uncomfortable parts of change and evolving. So, you know, I be in my Kamala bag these days. I can't go back. I know, like when you finally get up out of a 1995 hoop dick and you driving a well-crafted Benz straight out of the manufacturing warehouse, you can never go back to being fulfilled.
Okay.
Hoop dick.
Come on.
So that's how healing is. Once you get to the other side and you get that douse of like, oh god damn, like this shit is fly. This is way more efficient and effective than that shit I was relying on prior, while you never forget the prior, and you may even still hold a sentiment and a value for what was prior. You may even miss, you know, the working parts of what was, but you never can go the fuck back, baby, because it's just too good to be here rather than to be there. So while you may miss it, you may reflect on it from time to time. You may think about them people, and you may think about, you know, certain parts of your life prior, etc. Baby, you could never bring yourself to actually circle the block and go the fuck back. You can keep it cute, you can keep it respectful, you can keep it, you know, whatever, but you can never actually return because you've actually been changed. Your nature has been changed. You've actually been reborn in ways. You've been restructured. You have rearranged neurological pathways. You've recreated your fucking brain. You literally have created a new self. You've shed an actual skin and a layer of self. That's why you can't go back, because that bridge don't exist no more between you and that is which behind you.
Yeah, you shudder to think of that hoopty.
Memory now, but you don't know it materially anymore, and you can't even go back because that bridge caught a flame as you were willing to step 10 toes down and both feet in to your fucking healing. It is rewarding, as scary as it is, as much as your healing may cost you, and it will cost you, because there ain't no change that can come without fire, baby. So you're gonna feel the burn, and you definitely gonna sweat for these abs. You're gonna sweat.
Believe it.
baby, you gonna sweat, baby. You gonna earn, baby. You gonna sweat. You gonna earn these abs, baby. That's for damn sure.
This ain't no BBL etching.
You can never go back to that fupa, metaphorically speaking. Metaphorically speaking. Baby, once you get them ass, baby, once you get that Janet Jackson going in your spiritual body, once you got that all for you 8-pack in your spirit, man, you can never go back to that fupa, bitch. It's never gonna give the same in them spiritual genes. So it is powerful. It is rewarding. And so I guess what we need to really be saying to Funky is, don't be afraid to let that heathen go.
Period. Bottom line, damn it.
It ain't no motherfucking body worth where you could get without her ass.
Because I'm telling you, it's just when you know what's on the other side, when you for sure have been through it and see truly what is waiting for you on the other side, it's like, bitch, why did I wait so long to do this? Because it's just an existence that is beyond what you even thought it would be. It's a freedom. It is a peace. It is a love. It is a fullness in a way that you just cannot comprehend when you're coming through it. But I promise you it's worth every bit of it. I promise you it is. Even in the solitude, even in the moments that you're like, I am truly alone. I promise you every single bit of it is worth it. You will look back at the old you and shudder to think of ever being that again.
Baby, almost ashamed.
In real life,
I be looking back through the memory book like, girl, cringing. Like, oops.
Okay, like,
today, because I can't do yesterday, baby. Be cringing. Yeah.
Listen, I am so serious. Like it is to anybody who is in that moment. I see a couple people talking about doing shadow work and stuff. Keep doing it. Yes, it's going to whip your ass. Shadow work is something serious. Okay, you are going to have to literally
whip your ass because the discomfort is going to be equivalent to the reward.
Come on.
What you're going to give up to get in return is going to be equivalent. So that's why you got to remind yourself when you sweating it out in the spiritual gym.
Yes.
Oh, baby. Baby, yes, baby. I'm sweating it out and earning my stripes, but that pain is also equivalent to the value and to the gifts and to the results that are going to be my life. So the more hardcore the pain is, the more rewarding it's going to be.
For real. Because you will get to a point where you feel like, ooh, I sunk so low. My God, I must have made a wrong turn somewhere back there on Erykah Badu. You hear me? Like, you'll be like, this went a little too far. I promise you, you're on the right path. Stick to it. Stick to it.
Yes.
Do not let that deter you. You have not gone the wrong way. You are fully getting into the depths of releasing.
Yes.
When Conscious saying death, he means that. Like, I don't know how else to express that to you. That is genuinely what's happening. And not just in all the ways he said, but it is genuinely a death of who you thought you were. Yeah. And everything that you thought this is. When I say this, I mean this experience of living. You are going to have to shed it all. Nothing that you believe is what you're going to believe when you come out on the other side.
Yeah. Yeah.
I promise you, it's going to be a release of everything that you know. And that in and of itself is going to shake you to the core.
Yeah.
But push through. Push through.
Yeah, push through. You're going to be stripped to the bone, baby. You know, like I tell people, you know, unlike in the movies, baby, and the fluffy version of the spiritual community, baby, this thing ain't as romantic and poetic as as that to be, baby. This is hardcore work. This is the most serious and profound work you will ever do. It is the most incredible work that any human being will ever do in this life, is to dismantle and reconstruct self. That shadow work, that process of being born again, even the scripture talks about the metaphysical transmutation of consciousness. That's what the concept of being born again is.
Okay.
The literal death of the mind, the death of what you thought was, the death of what you called truth, the death of what you thought the facts were, the death of the veil, the death of the denial, the death of the mask, the death of the codependencies, the death of the bullshit of it all. The world that you thought, the self you thought, the family you thought, the marriage you thought, the relationships you thought. It's the destruction. It's the nihilism of all of that in the attempt to reach the ultimate truths, the ultimate realities that are embedded right within our very being. That's why man was created last, because man is the period on the end of the universe. Man is the embodiment of all that is.
Come on.
All that is in us, and we are it. So Beyonce says a beautiful statement around alchemy and the alchemy of the soul, which is, and I love this quote out of All Night Long, when she says, "My torturer became my remedy."
Okay.
That which tortured me has actually become the very thing that created the pathway to my liberation. And y'all just got to hold on. So if you've been dealing, because a lot of people are like, girl, this stream is taking me to church, baby. Y'all, you and Sunny, baby, you and Sunny are taking us to goddamn church, baby. The deacon and the deaconess, baby, are calling me to the carpet, baby. We are here to affirm y'all, to remind you, to encourage you, to continue to hold on to yourself, to stand your motherfucking ground in your healing. Don't allow all the barking from them demons to dissuade you, because that is a snagger-tooth bitch. It ain't no barking that bite, baby. And if you just stand up long enough, you will hear the quietness again amongst all of the barking and yabba dabba doing from your inner concerns, for your inner fears, from your intrusive thoughts that are trying to disrupt and challenge your journey to the promised land. Stand your motherfucking ground. Toe your motherfucking line. And if you need some help, if you need to find a space, if you need to find community of other people who doing the work in their emotional sobriety, in their mental sobriety, in their spiritual sobriety, you get access to the communities. You find online groups and communities where you can be encouraged, and you give your healing a chance, and you barricade yourself in, and you stand down. You double down. Fear is just a illusion of a lack of progress.
Come on.
Fear is just an illusion of nothingness. There is no such thing as nothingness. There's only everything. That's why your cup will always runneth over.
Come on.
All that is everything that is. So stand your ground, do your work, and be ye not afraid. Be ye not afraid. I think this is a beautiful closing.
I do too. You handled that.
Yeah, because
please believe it.
So, any lasting sentiments, Sonny, before we wrap this up?
No, I just wanted to get that off my chest. I felt like there was a little bit deeper that we needed to dig here, and I just wanted to toss that out.
Oh, as you came, because you activated the depth. baby, you activated the depth, baby. Right into that 30,000 feet depth of ocean water.
Hey.
Right into it. Took the submarine right on down, just a little bit closer to the sea floor. Yes, God.
Okay. The exploration is what I'm into, but it's all from love, because I know that it's always somebody that needs to hear it. It never goes it's never a wasted time. Let's just put it that way.
Never.
And for those of you who really just need a basic thing to hold on to, the one tenet I remind myself of the entire time I was going through that process, especially the deepest parts of it, I always remind myself as I was building a mansion, right? It was my mansion, it's my kingdom. And I said, nothing is built without destruction happening first. I have to tear down the trees. I have to clear the land.
Yeah.
I have to uproot this dirt. I'm going to dig it up and kick it around before I can lay a foundation.
Yeah.
And I'm going to make sure that this land is prepared in a way that the foundation never has to be broken again.
Absolutely.
And I constantly reminded myself of that. Clear this land and lay this foundation for real so that we never have to do this again.
The Great Reset. Yeah. Yeah, the Great Reset.
So sending love to all y'all. You know, I love being here. You know, I love you too.
Yes, yeah. I'm gonna
my
have to clip this part of the show. I'm gonna make this a separate upload because you know I know the attention span of some of the supporters, baby, be very short. Y'all can't endure no 3.5 hours, baby. Y'all ain't gonna make it in the replay to the end. So I'm gonna put the end in the beginning and make it a separate upload because this was juicy. This was it. This was the substance of it. This was the substance of it. So thank you so much, Sonny. I love you down, boo. And please,
you know I love you, friend.
Continue to bless us with your presence over here. We love it.
Of course. I appreciate y'all having me.
That was our Sonny, you guys. Y'all, this was an amazing show. Oh God, this has given pathway for just so much conversation. Y'all, this is what sets us apart from everybody else. This what we do here. This is what sets us apart, baby. Y'all don't even have an equivalent to CTV on this platform. There is not an equivalent, baby. There's not even anybody who even remotely comes close to the hem of the guard, baby. There is nobody on TikTok, on YouTube, on Facebook. There's nobody who can take hot topics, laugh, gag, the whole nine, and then teleport the damn conversation into areas that lead to liberation and that lead to an escalation of the intellect and that leads to a transformation of the soul, honey, that just gets all the inward shit just a piling and rocking, baby. This is what makes us unique, baby. This is why we in a lane of our motherfucking own, baby. Okay, we unstoppable, girl. We are a immovable and a indestructible point of existence. Y'all, we killed it today. We killed it, baby. So shout out to Dr. Heavenly. Shout out to Funky Dineva. Shout out to Erica Mina. Shout out to, Kevin Hart and Trasher Coochie K. And because, baby, because of their bullshit, we was able to make lemonade out of motherfucking lemons, baby. This is real life alchemy in real time in the form of content creating, baby. My God, today. So y'all make sure y'all thumbs up the video. Subscribe if you're new here. Share the stream out, baby. I told y'all we do everything here. For all of the newbies, baby, for all the influx of Conscious crew members, baby, we give it up. We a full purpose platform, baby. Okay, baby, ain't nobody got shit on us. And it's things you gonna get here that you just ain't gonna get nowhere else. I don't care how slick a motherfucking mouth is. I don't care how funny they think they is, etc. You're gonna get a full plate. Not all the time, because sometimes, baby, we just gonna be specializing in the bullshit. Sometimes, baby, we just gonna be with the bullshit. Okay, but baby, you also, at times, you're going to get that full plate. You're going to get that full plated experience, girl. All right? So if you enjoyed yourself, definitely, show some love to the thumbs up button. Please share. If you're new here, definitely subscribe, baby. Donate to the platform, Consciouztv. That's $Consciouztv, spelled just how the platform is on Cash App and or PayPal.me/ConsciouzTV, spelled just how it is here on the platform. Follow me on Miss Instagram at Consciouztv. Email me all the tea. Anything you ever want me to cover, you can always leave your recommendations in the comment section on the community wall post. You can DM me. Well, it's hard to DM on Instagram these days, but you can email me, you know, anything going on within trendy news, etc. Girl, send it all to me. I love you guys a long time. Shout out to my baby mother, Lee Williams, for the old Nancy child support check. Thank you, baby. And thank you as well to my CKW for the old Nancy child support check as well. And I love you all, and I will check you all later. Peace.